Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to the three of you that are watching. Good news today. We have a ceasefire. Moving forward in Lebanon. Hopefully, this will spur something in Gaza as well, though we're not as hopeful for that. But people are moving back into their homes in Hezbollah. Hopefully, people will be moving back into the north of Israel soon. And we'll see a lasting peace between the two. Maybe knowing that they no longer have support from Hezbollah in Gaza will push Hamas to be much more likely to negotiate for a real ceasefire. Israel, on the other hand, is going to be a bit harder. It seems like there's less incentive at this point for them to negotiate a ceasefire, but fingers crossed, we'll get something soon. So yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at tonight. Take a look at how things have been going. Palestinians leaving northern Gaza. Unfortunately, no surprise there. Crowded onto donkey carts, their belongings in their arms. Others walked on foot. We left. Here we are sitting with no shelter or food, and we do not know where to go. One of the women who fled the northern town of Beit Lahia said Israeli troops separated the men from the women, allowed the latter to travel onward to Gaza City. Hopefully, those families will be reunited soon. Israel files appeal to ICC to halt warrants over Gaza war crimes. I'm going to say fat chance on that. Look, I may tend to lean towards support of Israel, but Netanyahu's definitely a war criminal. Deserves to go to jail. I guess this is a jurisdiction argument, but since Palestine is a member, the jurisdiction argument doesn't really hold a lot of water, to be honest, because if one party is a member, then jurisdiction doesn't really apply. Let's see. Interesting. Iran meddling in things. What a surprise. Sending weapons. 2 units of Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, one purportedly based in Syria. Oh!
Oh, hello there.
Oh, hello, Josh. How you doing?
Hello, Jordan. It's my first time talking on Discord, actually.
You sound very clear.
Do I?
Yeah,
Sound okay?
you sound lovely.
With that nice mic ears.
Are you able to see my screen share?
Hit watch stream. Let's see. Lebanese begin grim task of recovering bodies from rubble.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, starting with some what I thought was going to be happy news. Yeah, we have a ceasefire. Let's talk about all the dead people.
Well, it's also the focus constantly on what's going on with Lebanese and bodies. They really make it out to be. They're making it out to be all like this was done to them.
Well, I'd say you could say that about the Lebanese citizens, but
That's
only
not
if you're also saying that Hezbollah did it to him as well.
Well, I'm saying it is done, but it's constantly making it out to be like Israel just decided to come into Lebanon and fuck with people. Like,
A woman mourns, holding a portrait of her grandson, a Hezbollah fighter, who was killed in the fighting.
I was reading was
Might
reading
I
about
might I rephrase that to who fucked around and found out.
I was reading about, by the way, this is like I- it's the media is making a conscious effort to show Lebanese people as Hezbollah supporters when that's much
That's not
more.
even true. I mean,
The Shiite population is, but generally the Christian and Sunni
yeah.
populations much less so.
I mean,
And
naturally there was an uptick in support after the war started, which of course you would kind of expect.
but now showing, it's a choice to show on the front of the BBC Hezbollah flags waving in Lebanon following the ceasefire. Like you could show a different side of Lebanon, but they like it. That's what the media wants to show. They make Lebanon synonymous with Hezbollah, and it isn't.
It's not.
Shouldn't be.
It's really
It's wrong.
very much
That's
not.
making Lebanon synonymous with the IRGC.
Mm-hmm.
That's
A lot of Muslims and Christians in Lebanon.
Yeah, I was
do
reading
not
this
support Hezbollah, and if there were any Jews left in Lebanon, I'm sure that they wouldn't support Hezbollah either.
No, I was reading this from. I think it was a Lebanese person who was very upset about
Mhm.
that. You know.
Oh, did you see this, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
President Joe Biden's
Yeah.
security advisors pushing back on the Donald Trump administration for taking credit for the Lebanon ceasefire. I mean, they're
Get
both
ready,
both
because
take credit.
my conservative friend is going to be coming in here in a little bit, and I'm going to bet you, he's going to be arguing that this was a Trump victory.
Yeah, I like how this person's also named Waltz, so now that's getting confusing. Waltz.
Yeah, but it's got a T in it.
Yeah, well, when you say it out loud, no one's gonna.
No, technically it's Walls.
Yeah,
Tim Walz.
technically.
Hey, you know what? Apparently, I guess if your vice presidential candidate's name is Tim, you're going to lose.
I think so. We don't want Tims. Tims don't sound strong. No offense to all the Tims out there.
Because
I
remember,
don't
Hillary
know if it sounds strong either, but Josh Shapiro sounded pretty strong to me.
Hillary had Tim Kaine. You remember that?
Yeah, that's the last
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry. You're saying you think Josh is a strong name? I wonder.
No, I'm saying.
I wonder how you might have come to that conclusion.
I was actually saying I don't think it's a strong name in solidarity with Tim. But then I thought about Josh Shapiro, and I was like, I think he would have been stronger than Tim Walz.
Mm-hmm. I think we all feel that way in retrospect.
Yeah, I had a dark feeling when she went with Tim Walz over Josh Shapiro. I'm like, that's gonna bite her.
Yeah, but I'm a good loyal Democrat. I fell in line just like you're supposed to. I started supporting him as well. I liked him a lot. He was a sweet guy.
Yes, he's a sweet guy who played to his own base.
Yes. Which wasn't great for us in this race.
No, I don't think he reached. They thought he would reach. There's this idea that he's like, oh, he kind of sounds like a country, rural old white man. Maybe that'll reach out to Trump voters. It's a misunderstanding of a lot of those Trump voters.
But the progressiveness kind of pushed them away. That I think.
Yeah. I think she actually would have reached out to some of them more with Josh Shapiro.
Yeah, because he won by like 20 points in Pennsylvania?
No, apparently that would have handed them Pennsylvania on a silver platter. They love him there.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wouldn't that have been something? A Jewish vice president.
Wouldn't it have been?
Well,
now that means that actually he's probably happy now, because now that gives him a chance to look better in the future.
We almost had that with Lieberman, too.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
He wasn't the same Lieberman that
different Lieberman.
back then. Yeah, Gore and Lieberman.
Not Joe Lieberman?
Joe Lieberman, yeah. We almost had a Jewish VP with him.
Yeah.
Back when people still supported Israel.
Yeah. Back when. People still do. The stats show that the majority of America does actually still very much support Israel, and that's one of the
Yeah,
reasons.
but they're
probably
not the thing is like it's not that's not the loudest groups, right? Come here, come here, baby. Come on.
Yeah, well, vocal minorities are vocal minorities. They're called vocal
Yeah,
minorities
for
for a
real.
reason.
Come here, baby.
They're very loud. You don't have Canada's where I'm from doing some crazy shit right now.
What are they doing?
You following all the crazy, literally pro-terrorist.
Wait, like actually pro-terrorist, not just like, oh, I'm actually anti-Zionist. They don't know what that means.
I mean, literally them recreating the Yahya Sinwar chair.
What the fuck is wrong
Yeah,
with people?
making him out to be a hero. They wrote freedom on the chair, YS on the back of it, and had terror supporters sitting in the chair pretending to be Sinwar.
What the hell is wrong with people, man?
Yeah, look it up. Just look up the imagery of it. See if you can find it.
Back up, Ika.
You should show this imagery so people understand.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, oh, free power. Like that's not the. That's not what I'm talking about. Canada supporting Sinwar. Yeah. Look up the images.
Anti-Israel protesters. Good lord.
Get ready. Go. Let's see. Oh, it's loading. Okay, watch the video. Yeah.
Oh.
Just picture.
So then go move back to Palestine then, for fuck's sake.
They forgot to chop his hand off in solidarity.
Right, right. This isn't a faithful reenactment. They still have both their hands.
Yeah, and he's got a hole in his head. He might also still have a hole in his head in a way. So that's pretty faithful.
Like in the James Randi way.
He's definitely got some holes in his head. This guy to do that.
This is one of my favorite quotes, right? The quote: "There is a distinct difference between having an open mind and having a hole in your head from which your brain leaks out." James Randi. One of my favorites.
Well, some people say your mind. Some people with open minds, their minds are so open that their brains eventually leak out.
That was yes, that's the gist of the quote that I just said. Thank
you. You're saying there's a difference between it, but really, I think the argument is that you can make your mind so open that it'll lead to your brains leaking out.
Again,
that's cause and effect.
Basically the gist of the quote, Josh.
No, it's not. It's not a cause and effect. I'm just saying there's a difference between two things.
By the way, do you know what this shirt is? By the way, can you see the stream?
I see the stream, but it just shows the anti-Israel.
No, you see my live stream. If you go to my Kick stream, like kick.com/JordanWorld, you can actually see the stream.
General, there it is. Okay.
Hang on, it's refreshing the stream right now because the fucking thing. This keeps happening to me. I keep like losing my connection. This happened last time. It happened like 3 times during the thing. Okay, now we're back up. Check something. I just need a new computer. At this point. Okay, you can see the stream now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I see so you posted. I see the messages.
Can you see the stream? Do you see my shirt?
No, I don't see that. Sorry, where am I looking at?
Go to the Jesus Christ. Go to the link that I sent you in Discord.
Kick.com/Jordan. It just took me here. It took me to the messages. Like, yo, that's where it took me. Oh, here, just join. Here, go. You invited to a server. I've already did that.
No, I sent you. Do you see kick.com/JordanWorld? Copy that. Put it in your browser.
And I have to get back to this. Hold on a sec. What did this appear?
I swear to God, you're like a boomer right now.
I feel like. Look, I'm brand new basically to Discord.
This is not Discord. This is not Discord. I'm not asking you to go anywhere on Discord.
Okay, sorry. Kick in a different. Sorry, I got confused between Kick and Discord. Okay, let's go to Kick. slash Jordan World.
Kick.com/Jordan World. That is my stream.
All right. Okay. I'm so shut. Okay. Wait, I can't hear you anymore. Hello?
You can't hear me?
Once I went to it, it stopped. Hold on. Keep talking.
You can hear me, right?
Now I can again. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, you just have a massive lag. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like normal. Do you see the shirt though? You know what this is?
My Dieter Ripper. What is that? Ripperino? Where's that from?
This is
Oh.
Destiny merch.
I want those cards.
It's his sign off thing that he says.
I have no that.
I thought it would be appropriate for streaming and chatting politics.
Yeah. Who you chatting politics?
Oh,
Who doesn't agree with you? You're always correct.
well. And yet we disagree sometimes.
You and I, we rarely disagree. Honestly.
Yeah, but when we do, if I'm always correct, then
If we disagree, it's like it's about how, like the level of intensity of something probably.
oh no, I dropped my vape. Give me a second. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I like the shit behind you.
I know, right? It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Come on, I need to find my vape. Drop my vape, and then the part that actually matters fell out.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
So we're talking on Discord, but I'm seeing your stream.
Yes, our chat on Discord is being streamed to Kick.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I got
Liking
it.
this.
What?
Liking this new iPhone.
Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Even though you got the little boy.
What you got?
The middle.
Yeah, 500.
Oh no, actually 256. I did get 256 because I hold a
256.
lot of my shit on the cloud, so I don't really need it.
I don't use the cloud. Maybe I should have.
Let me check something.
I didn't want to perpetually pay for the cloud. Technical difficulties. I love how it says during an anti-Israel rally, a mass protester sat in a chair and reenacted the final moments of the Hamas leader October 7th massacre orchestrator. And it's like, he didn't really enact the final moments.
He didn't do what? Sorry.
He didn't really reenact the final moments.
No, he didn't, and I think
That I would have loved to have seen.
I think that tells me that he lacks commitment.
Yeah, he reenacted the moment before the final moment.
Right. Not even really. Because he's still got that arm.
That's true. That's just a lie.
He's being a puss.
So you're watching Stargate now?
Yep.
Good.
I'm watching, I'll be continuing Stargate. From episode 4, your least favorite episode.
most people's least favorite episode, I would say.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm going to trash it greatly to
Is it
you.
episode 4 or is it episode? I guess they call it episode 4 because the first and the second, it's like actually kind of plays out to 3 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first episode was 2 episodes.
Emancipation. You're doing. Oh no, yeah, you're doing Emancipation, right?
I don't know. Look at my little wand.
Oh yeah, Emancipation is terrible.
Do you hear this?
What?
The little wand. I'll use it to make
Expelliarmus.
I'll use it to make this fake Yaya Sinwar's arm disappear.
Yeah, you got. Okay, here's what you got next. I'll tell you what's great.
Okay.
Emancipation, terrible. But maybe knowing that you'll find some enjoyment in it. Like I just watched The Room yesterday and I had a good time. Uh, and then Broke a Divide. I mean, I don't know how well that holds up. The First Commandment. I never liked that one very much either. Cold Lazarus is surprisingly emotional by the end. That one I like more than I think you're going. Yeah, but it just looks
Wow.
cheesy. But
This guide says skip straight to episode 7.
just hold up. Don't do that. Oh, 7 is Cold Lazarus. Oh no, it's
7
wrong.
is the Knox.
It's line. Well, it's labeling them differently there.
Oh.
But the Knox is the one after Cold Lazarus. I actually like Cold. I like Cold Lazarus, and it ties into the movie. There's no other episode of SG1 that feels like Cold Lazarus. The Knox is good. The Knox is very good, and that's the start of it getting into it.
Okay.
But then you have another kind of costumey one with Brief Candle, which ends up being pretty cool. Again, all these are good starts, like Brief Candle, Thor's Hammer, but the Torment of Tantalus, that shit is the best. Yeah, you need to watch these ones that they show you because they also are important for later. That's why they're also saying like
Yeah, no, like I get that as a concept. That's fine.
Thor's actually, yeah, no, I like those. They're just
I don't like missing things. I don't like knowing that there might be like references to shit that I'm not gonna get later because I skipped an episode. I even watch like fucking Dragon Ball filler.
Yeah, no, I would watch everything in SG1 because I would watch the characters just breathe. That's how much I enjoy watching them on screen.
Okay,
They're
that
just
might be a
fun
little
to
much
watch.
for me.
They're fun to watch interact with each other. You know what I mean? Fire and
I probably don't need to watch them breathe.
what it's interesting looking through this. Season 1 was finding itself still, so like there are moments where like there is nothing else that feels like episode 13 Fire and Water.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. You might like it. It's just a weird one. And then I never loved how they did Hathor. It's actually one of my least favorite ones.
Okay.
Episode
This
14.
the guide says it's important though.
It is important because of later, but it is, but it, yeah. I just don't like this episode, but it's memorable for a few reasons. Singularity is actually pretty good. Actually, a very emotional episode too. I forgot about some of these. Korai, these are all just building the main characters in some ways. Just, Enigma was good. Solitudes is a great.
Which is the one that you said you were most excited for me to see?
Torment of Tantalus, but also Solitudes is excellent.
Torment
Episode
of
18.
Tantalus.
Does it say Solitudes on there to watch? Season 1? No, there's season 1. Yeah, I'm talking about season 1. You're going down.
Torment of Tantalus is season 1, by the way.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It does say to watch Solitudes. It's actually episode 18.
Why is this? Oh, it must be counting the double episode as one.
Yeah, I think it is one episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, the after from Solitudes onward, from like Enigma onwards, from 17 onwards, it's pretty great all the way through. Episode, I mean, There But for the Grace of God is a fantastic episode. Except the second to last episode of the clip show, but it's a fun one. Politics.
Okay.
but yeah, once you get to, I'm excited for you though to really see. I mean, everyone loves the Nox, but I'm excited for you to see the Torment of Tantalus and Solitudes, and There But for the Grace of God. Those are probably the three
Okay.
that.
Well,
I actually really liked him, man. I just think some of the effects don't hold up very well. But
I'll let you know what I think. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, some of the effects from Star Trek don't hold up very well either. I
Tin
don't know
Man
what
has
you expect.
the twist. Some of the twists in here are really good, but the ones that are most like Stargate to me, that really feel like they're not just like could happen in any show, from the first season, are Torment of Tantalus really starts some shit. Yeah.
I'm still getting used to the effect of the Stargate opening with, like, that big, like, water splash thing that it does.
Oh, it's cool though.
Huh. It's. I think I'm get. The more I see it and get used to the show, I think I'm gonna like it more. Right
Oh,
now, it feels a little corny, but what?
the VFX just get generally better throughout the show too.
Yeah.
I think at
With the
one
show.
season, the whole Stargate at one season just becomes CGI later on.
Yo, Daniel.
Yo, yo, yo.
What up, buddy?
What up, Mr. Ball?
Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
Hello, hello, sir.
This is my buddy Josh.
Hey
Nice to
Daniel.
meet you, Josh.
He's
Nice to meet you.
also a dirty Jew and a dirty Democrat.
Yeah, keyword is dirty though.
Oh God, dude, filthy, filthy,
Right?
dirty.
Absolutely terrible.
I'm
I
Canadian.
mean, now you know, but you know, you could be a Jew, but are you a Zionist? That's the real question.
Hell yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude. So you're a terrorist.
I'm a Nazi, you know.
Yeah, you're a Zionist Nazi. You know?
Right, exactly.
I'm
So,
Canadian.
just for some context,
Oh, even worse, bro. It just keeps getting worse.
right?
I'm
Just for
Canadian.
some context, Daniel actually is very supportive of Israel as well.
I got that sense somehow. I just knew.
I don't know. I'm ADHD. I can't with tones sometimes, okay?
But you know,
We were just talking about Stargate SG-1, bro.
Nice,
have
nice.
you watched Stargate?
No, I haven't.
Well,
we have to baptize him into the world of corny 80s and 90s sci-fi.
do you think that makes you a Democrat more when you watch sci-fi? Does that democratize you?
No, but you know what? I see the correlation though.
Yeah. It's all this hopeful wonder. It depends if it's hopeful sci-fi or not. If it's just like dark sci-fi that's about all the things we should be afraid of, I feel
Well,
like that's
You see,
opposite.
from Daniel's perspective, he's going to say, well, obviously, a world like this is science fiction. You know, a world that the Democrats think is going to be a utopia.
Yeah, look, I come from in Canada. We didn't talk in terms of Democrats and
Yeah,
Republicans.
see, Daniel, he's a Canadian.
Those are the names of parties. You know, you're more liberal or conservative, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I don't know anymore. I feel like politics is all getting fucked.
So Josh is a writer. Daniel's a comedian.
Oh,
Well, I work in film.
you work in film too.
Yes, yes. I'm a full-time first AD.
Oh, awesome. So you, what is the last thing you worked on?
The last thing I worked on was a Tubi movie. Before that is a movie that's gonna be on Sony Pictures. I look forward to that one. I've done 3 feature films as a second AD and 3 as a first AD. And then I was a second AD on a Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre commercial.
Do you enjoy?
It's
Oh, did you know that Jordan's dad was in?
yeah, I met Jordan's dad. Yeah,
Yeah, he knows my dad.
No,
He knows
no,
Helena,
was
like
in
he
a
knows the
Snoop
family.
Dogg.
Did you
Yeah,
know?
he said was in
Video?
a Snoop Dogg music video. I was there that day. That's the first day I met Jordan's dad.
So that's how you know. Okay, that's maybe I'm.
That's how I know Jordan. Yeah.
His dad is in one of my movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Excuse me.
I love
Yeah.
that.
He plays a pedophile.
Oh,
You-
Jesus.
He's
Hang
not
on,
even
you know?
joking.
I cast
keeping the Democrat spirit alive.
Ah!
that's part of the Democratic platform.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
they're actually referred to as minor attracted people, and I think that the language you are saying is very offensive to the
Ebophile?
people. As
Oh
long
my
as
god.
you got to understand, as long as they don't act on these actions, these thoughts and feelings are, just sexual preference.
I love how quickly
That
Wait, Josh. In
history.
internet world, we pronounce it Habibophile.
Habibophile?
Habibophile. Yeah.
Habibi after Bibi?
Yeah. Habibi file. No. That's awful. Holy
terrible.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, so before the Stargate shit, we were talking about the ceasefire in Lebanon.
Hopeful ceasefire.
Hopeful ceasefire.
Already there's been some shit, I think, kind of stirring things up, but I think it's holding for now.
Oh, Daniel, this will drive you nuts, by the way. Jump on the screen share that I'm doing.
Oh, the thing I just showed you?
Yeah, I've got to show this.
I will check it out, but I'm in a very intense ranked match of Rocket League at this moment.
Oh,
Shit,
And
okay.
I will jump on. I will jump on in a sec.
I'll give you a preview of what it is. It's these protesters in Canada recreating the Yahya Sinwar in the couch thing when he got killed.
On the chair, yeah.
The leader of
Okay.
Hamas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal, bro.
They're saying he's recreating his final moments, but I don't think they're genuinely recreating his final moments.
No.
I think if they really went for that, I'd be a little more supportive.
Yeah, we were also mentioning how they weren't missing the arm like he was. So
Yeah, his arm is still intact. I think that's a poor job.
Yeah. The ceasefire of Lebanon, I saw that, I feel like there's going to be a whole lot of ceasefires coming up over the next few months, and new negotiations for everything due to new
well, I
leadership.
hope so.
Did you see the Kamala Harris campaign? Apparently,
Kamehameha Harris.
Yet?
What?
What about it?
Kamala?
Oh, I did see
Kamala?
that.
Kamala.
No, I said Kamehameha Harris.
Kamehameha?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I want to go that strong. But
That blue wave.
people in her campaign, dude, she already blew way past her budget, which was fucking extraordinarily high to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up not even paying everybody on the campaign itself yet.
I guess they probably figured that if she won, they were gonna be able to find a way to pay everybody.
This is fucked up, bro. And this is the bitch that was supposed to lead our country. That's
Is
crazy,
that why I'm
dude.
still getting messages that say, please?
Yes,
hit the
yes,
$5.
I'm still getting those messages too.
She can still win. Come on.
You know who likes to text
You're
me?
just
You know who
$2.
likes to
Who?
text me for donations, bro? Is your favorite governor of all time, Daniel.
DeSantis?
Gavin
kidding.
Newsom.
Yeah.
It's always like, hey, it's Gavin. And I always look at it and I'm like,
Oh, man.
no, it's not. That's not Gavin. That's some random guy who's getting paid probably minimum wage to send fucking texts out to people. I don't... Can you imagine, like, being a voter and actually thinking, like, you're getting a text from...
Right.
Yeah. You, like, go to your parents, you're like, dude, Gavin Newsom sent me a fucking text message. You won't believe it.
So, hey, Daniel, as I understand, you are a Republican, correct?
Yes.
From a Republican POV.
I want to say I'm a Republican as much. I've always been independent.
Independent, okay. So, but maybe from a,
I would,
we'll say from
He's
a,
right
He's
now,
a
I'm
Trump-
taking
he's
lot
a
more
proud-
conservative values.
Yeah, he's a
Maybe
proud
Trump
Trump
for sure.
voter. Yeah.
yeah, Trump voter,
Or
from a-
even
who do you want to see as who would you want to see on the other side to make it like a,
Oh, you're
We'll
gonna
say-
like this answer.
who would you want to see as the Democratic?
I know
nominee?
his answer to this, Josh, and you're gonna like it.
no. I'm gonna say Robert Kennedy Jr. now. I mean, I feel like if Kennedy ran,
Who do you like?
I mean, I'm not. we'll see. I don't know much about Josh Shapiro. I like Josh Shapiro in the few interviews I've seen.
That's what I was just talking
But,
about earlier. I was telling,
Yeah,
I was
we
saying,
were talking about Shapiro.
that was the
Yeah.
moment I felt she made a big mistake when she.
Oh yeah, choosing Tim Walz,
Because-
Tampon Tim. I mean,
that's
just
what-
yeah, all around too. With Minnesota being such an anti fucking American, like it has very extremist values there. So to even bring him on, just like kept the extremism up on the Democratic side. Like she could have chose a little bit more moderate Democrats for sure.
Hmm.
I guess so, even though just the perception of it, I think the idea was that Tim Walz was going to be the old man kind of Southern.
That was the perception, but when you pull up interviews and the wife is talking about, we rolled down the windows to smell the city burn. We just took it all in. You just go,
Whoa.
what? Yeah, you saw that interview? You just
I
go,
did
what?
not.
Y'all did what?
Oh,
Yeah,
that sounds
you're the fucking governor of Minnesota, bro. They're applauding the
Oh,
burning
during
of
the
the cop
BLM
station.
riots, yeah.
Yeah,
That would
and
be
she
like-
said we rolled down the windows and we took in the smell of just wow, this moment is really happening. It was so impactful.
That would be,
Those are the
man.
words she used to describe her fucking city burning down. Like you're a failure of a governor.
That'd be
I mean,
like a
there's no other way
president.
I look at
That'd
it.
be,
He's
bro.
very
That'd be like a president telling people who were breaking into the Capitol that they were patriots. Sorry, I had to.
the. I feel like it's very popular in Minnesota.
I mean, it depends, dude. It depends if you've seen the 40,000 hours of footage where it's like some were breaking into the Capitol and some were just let in by the cops.
Well,
Yeah.
well.
Well,
Crowd control, my friend. If you do, I mean, I'm not. I was just making a joke, but realistically, let's say you're like one of like I don't know 5 fucking cops because everybody involved managed to fuck up on security in that Nancy Pelosi, whoever it might be. I'm not pointing fingers in
they
that
call for
regard.
National Guard.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
let's just say you have like 5 cops there at the Capitol, and you have like 1,000 fucking people trying to break into the building.
Wait, so
I know.
I have
You're
a
not
question.
gonna. Well, let me finish, Josh.
Oh, sorry.
You're not going to be able to control them, right? You're not going to be able to control the crowd. The best you can do is try to lead them away from where all the Congress people are. That's what we were seeing with those cops at that point. When they first got in, that was breaking in. But once they were in, they were just trying to lead them away from where all the Congress people were. So those videos that we see of them like going this way, this way, this way was trying to do exactly that.
Yeah. I mean, I understood the logic. I remember when that's what they said.
So if you, as a Trump supporter, I was always curious about this one question. What is the answer, I guess, on the other side as to like why you like? Do you think it's weird that he didn't continue having Mike Pence as his?
No, hell no. A lot of people didn't like Mike Pence from like the actual get-go when he chose him as his VP to begin with.
So
I'm gonna tell you, man, I actually love JD Vance. I actually really do like JD Vance a lot. So I thought that was a great pick. I thought it'd been cool if he put like Tulsi Gabbard as his VP. I thought that would have been real interesting.
I like 2016 JD Vance.
why did all the
Dude, I love JD Vance. I just watched that movie Hillbilly Elegy too, and I'm like, this might be the most relatable
Did you
politician.
read the book?
No,
Well,
You should read the book.
not.
Why did all
Alright.
the people who worked with him though, like from top down, like they all warned against Trump in power? They all were like,
not as many people as you think. I mean, there are some key figures, but
yeah.
I've gone over this with multiple people, and I just say disgruntled employees.
Do you really think that makes sense that they're all disgruntled employees, like all of them?
I do, because I think the government's incredibly corrupt. I do think that far more generals. I know people have to point out the generals that are like that say he was going to be a fascist, but far more generals. I have the articles. It's like 240 generals and admirals have come out constantly and supported Trump, from the heads of the border security. So many powerful people have said great things about him. So it's
The
like
people who interacted with him all the time said this. Not the people who, not generals who were watching things from afar or met him once or twice. I'm talking about like the the people who were like his chief of the
Well,
people.
you know what, man? Actions speak louder than words. And the guy who constantly gives power to the states, the guy who during COVID had the absolute authority to probably become more of a fascist than ever, gave powers to the states, is not the fascist to me.
Well,
The people who want to push censorship towards tech companies, regulations towards tech companies, people who are trying to regulate podcasts, that was the Democrat side. That's you guys are the most pro censorship administration I've ever seen.
Let me
There was
let
a
me jump in.
recent
Let me
thing,
jump
Mark
in
Andreessen
here.
was talking on Joe Rogan.
Let me jump
and I
in
want to
here
check
for a
that
second.
out.
Hang on.
that's
hang on.
arguable for sure. I'm not going to say that's not true. I'm just wondering about him as a character, as a person. Like he's been like I believe all these people. I don't know why anyone wouldn't. Who literally their jobs are gone. Like they're just they tried their best to make it work with Trump. They're Republicans. They're people who are like were looked up very
To
highly
me,
in the party. And
yeah,
he
to me though, they're just like they're all just long-term politicians as well.
You don't think he's a textbook narcissist and that keeps getting found out over and over
Oh,
again?
for sure. I've always said that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I want to
Narcissist.
having known Daniel and talked politics with Daniel for quite a while. He definitely has a fair share of criticism for Trump's personality and how he, speaks sometimes. So he's not the type of guy who's just like, oh my god, I worship Trump's feet in everything he
Yeah,
says.
I didn't even like Trump pretty much. I wasn't even gonna vote in 2020. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I was barely gonna vote in 2020.
I'm just
So
saying.
I saw.
Sorry.
Go
Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry. You.
No,
Sorry.
it's good. I voted for Trump in 2020, and that was like the start. I already kind of saw how much the media blasted him and only posted negative shit. And then I learned like a couple of things the media manipulated that was just so like extreme to me that it made me pay more attention to him. But I didn't really pay attention that much. Then 2020 came, and I saw just the way Florida was versus the way California was, and I was like, I don't want these Democrats in charge. And then they won, and over the next 4 years, it just got worse in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I still feel that way.
I can understand not liking Democrat policy and all that stuff. I guess it's all a
Yeah,
matter of.
policy is the large thing. Yeah, personality. No, I don't think Trump's a great fit.
But don't you think that it's a little bit hard to predict how he's going to be because he doesn't make decisions like the
Man,
stuff
he works his ass off though, dude. He does nonstop rallies, nonstop podcasts. He's making nonstop moves. I mean,
I
even
want to see him nonstop in the Oval Office, though.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of
he
golf.
does.
How much golf
He was doing a lot
No,
of
bro.
golfing. though.
Man, dude.
Golf.
Kamala and Biden are both on vacation as we speak.
Yeah.
Biden has
Well,
far
yeah,
more
they're
vacation
lame
hours
ducks.
than
Yeah, it's a lame duck session, but also you can look at the stats. Trump was the most out of office of any. I mean, he used Mar-a-Lago as his second location, basically.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's like his one hobby ever. He also was highly more respected. I felt like in world meetings from going to the UN.
I would
Just
Just seeing how people treat
They're a little bit
Biden.
scared of him sometimes because he's a little unpredictable, but I don't think they respect him. They
I
very
do. Even just looking at certain videos where you see people get up and shake his hand as
But
opposed
what about
to people brushing off Biden. I felt like Biden was just fairly disrespected among
look,
any
Biden?
world leader I've ever
I
seen in
agree with you.
America.
Biden was like barely there for the the last year,
Yeah, dude,
year and a half of his term.
Truly had dementia.
But
Yeah.
Called Zelensky Putin,
but-
bro. It was one of the wildest things
but
ever.
I don't know if you remember when he was at the UN and literally got laughed at by the General Assembly. I mean, that wasn't a good look for Trump either. That doesn't make me think that people respect him.
And they respect him enough to know that he said he spoke with 70 world leaders within 48 hours of his president-elect. I
Well,
mean,
that's going to
I feel
happen
like
with
people
well, hang on.
are already making moves left and
That's
right.
going to
you know,
happen
Hamas,
with
everything
any-
around the Middle East. The language started to change. People started talking about ceasefire, not wanting to be involved in the war. I do feel like there's a level.
So
of respect. As soon as he got elected.
I agree in I
Yeah.
agree there was a shift in the Middle East. I also think there was a large measure of the negotiations that have been ongoing for quite some time. I would say this was until we know more about like what happened behind the scenes, it's kind of hard to know. But I do agree that Trump winning the presidency definitely had an effect on how the negotiations went in the Middle East. But I don't know if it's respect or if it's fear. Do we? I
It's
mean, do we
fear.
consider those things the same thing?
Fair. They think Donald Trump. This is my understanding of it because he's already putting people who are. I mean, look, I'm pro-Israel, but he's putting people who are like evangelically pro-Israel.
Yeah, like
in
more
position.
pro-Israel than I am for sure.
Like in the sense of like religiously pro-Israel, like, and he's putting these people in positions that's scaring the other side about what's going to happen. So they're like, yeah, let's maybe wrap it up. That to me is like, okay, maybe that's actually a weird benefit in that they're actually going to get to a ceasefire faster, and that's happening right now. And they can both argue over who gets credit, right? Biden's gonna say,
Honestly, at the end of the day, I really don't give a fuck who gets credit as long as we get ceasefires in the end of the wars, right?
we don't care.
Yeah.
They care, but I mean, we can care whether or not we think it's actually a good thing that a ceasefire happened before.
I don't think a ceasefire's happening with Biden at all. I think Biden's gonna.
It just did happen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
while
God,
we
he said it. But
well, hang on. While we can argue that Trump's election certainly had an influence, and I think
yeah.
that is true, the actual negotiations did happen with the Biden administration. That's also true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they might have been scared by Trump, but they're actually doing it with Biden.
I
That's what's
think
happening.
in this one,
Or with whoever.
I'm happy to agree that there are kudos to go around on this one. I think Trump winning the election kicked it into high gear for sure, where they went, okay, we got to get this done as soon as possible. But then the terms of the ceasefire were negotiated by the Biden administration.
Israel was also waiting on. So Israel didn't want France, for example, to be a part of this deal.
Yeah,
And
they cucked them hard, bro. Did you see how they cucked them so hard? What they made them say to the ICC?
That was the deal. So basically,
I know
France
that was the deal. Yeah.
If we get to do this, then we're going to say that we're not going to abide by the. We're going to say they don't have jurisdiction, and we wouldn't arrest Netanyahu if he came to France. That's basically what the agreement was. I don't know. France has been kind of wishy-washy with all kinds.
Yeah,
all
but
this
they're
stuff.
still and I don't know. You may or may not agree with me on this part, Daniel, but France is going to continue sending weapons to Ukraine, which is dope. I'm pretty happy with that.
Oh, yeah. Are you anti-sending stuff to Ukraine?
What's that?
Yeah, I'm more anti just coming up with negotiations and new treaties.
He wants
ending
to
the war in
an
general.
end to the war like as soon as possible, which is fine.
Yeah,
He's not pro Russia, that's for sure.
I know, but
I'm not pro Russia.
There's realities on the ground, right?
I'm not pro Ukraine either, but I have a few friends who are of Russian descent, and they just want the end of the war as well. People don't talk about it, but it's like it's devastating for both countries.
No,
I spent a good 4 hours FaceTiming with my Russian friend like just yesterday.
So I'm pro anti-war. I'm more anti-establishment and more anti-war probably than like what a Republican or Democrat would be. That's why I'm more independent.
Because you could be anti-war, right? We're all anti-war, hopefully.
You gotta be pro just war, right?
Are you pro? Like, if someone goes to war with you, are you anti-fighting it or letting them win? Like letting them are you?
No,
pro
of course not.
So basically, if your allies are getting attacked, are you pro?
But Ukraine is not our ally.
Ukraine is our ally.
Yeah,
Ukraine is an ally.
They're not NATO.
Ukraine is an ally.
They wanted to be in NATO. The only reason they weren't in NATO was because Russia kept beating its chest about nuclear bombs and shit.
Ukraine's part of the democratic, like basically Western world. Like they're an ally for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think one of the big negotiations about this, I really hope is one of the big negotiations about this is allowing, cede Crimea to Russia in exchange for allowing Ukraine to join NATO. I hope that will be the outcome of these negotiations to end the war.
What makes a country an ally for us?
I mean, what makes them an ally? Are you talking about a strategic ally, or in terms of that? Because its values is one of the things. If you share, values,
you're right.
Saudi Arabia is a
value.
strategic ally, but we don't share values with Saudi Arabia, right?
Right.
But they're a strategic ally, and we it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend a little bit with them, right? In Iran,
Okay.
you know, and if there's allies of convenience and things like that. And I think sometimes when you do that, the values start to like we get a little bit, you know what I mean? Like we rub off on each other a little bit. That didn't sound weird at all.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of it's values and strategic alliance. I think.
I
That's
mean,
really what
Ukraine is in Eurovision, for God's sake.
it's called Russia.
Is it really? No, didn't they get? Don't
They
they,
got kicked
let?
out.
Yeah, they got kicked
They
out.
got kicked out.
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure
Yeah.
Israel is still in Eurovision though. Yeah, it
Barely.
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
they
was
protested.
protesting them last time.
They made them
I
change.
remember.
They
Yeah.
made them change the lyrics in their song because it was about the tragedy of what happened on October
That's
7th.
gross.
That was they're like it's political. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's
Political.
oh yeah, because Eurovision is never political.
Yeah,
That's
it was
ridiculous.
a double standard. Yeah, they're not
There's
talking about-
always the double standard for the Jews, isn't it?
It's like if America couldn't put a song about like 9/11. Like that's what it.
9/11.
That's so weird. example, though.
9/11. Sorry, I've had those South Park songs stuck in my head.
So wait, so if you're for Democrats, Josh Shapiro, is there anybody else that you would want to see that would make you go, that's an interesting matchup? I wonder who I would.
Don't say Tulsi
No.
Gabbard. She's not a Democrat anymore.
What about Robert Kennedy Jr., bro?
He's
Actually?
not a Democrat. I don't
He
think
is a
so.
Democrat. He is a. How is he not? Because of
I
one
mean,
medical stance.
He's an
Before-
independent at this point. I agree
a-
with some of his
Yeah.
shit, but
I
I
agree
just don't. I don't
agree with
think
what
he's
a lot of you guys
really
say.
a Democrat at this point. That's all.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a
Yeah,
good guy.
I think he's got a good
I
heart.
absolutely don't think. I think he's a great guy. I like Kennedy. I think people really try hard to discredit him.
That's true. They do.
I
but also,
agree with him on some things. I
Yeah.
disagree with him on other things. But I think the
I think
things that I
he's very smart.
disagree with him on, I disagree with him on pretty strongly.
Okay.
Yeah. But I look forward to him making American foods healthier. I think that's great.
if
Yeah. Did you see the New York Times article about
What?
Fruit Loops? That was one of the funniest fucking articles
About
I ever saw.
Fruit Loops? Let me pull
Yeah,
it up.
New York Times. Look up the New York Times RFK Jr. Fruit Loops.
All right.
Bro, it's whoever wrote this article is such an asshole. They're like, motherfucker, I almost had the goal.
Processed
Oh, God.
foods
All right, hold on.
are in the
Yeah, so they said even though he exaggerates on the chemicals used in our foods, for Fruit Loops, he used that as one example. They basically have the same exact ingredients as the American version, aside from the coloring, which Canada uses natural blueberries and strawberries for their dyes, and we use the chemical red dye 40 and BHT by whatever tretinoin, whatever it is. And it was just hilarious how an article could be like, he exaggerates by the chemicals in our food, and here's an example of the chemicals in our food.
you know,
You
who-
know, it was just fucking crazy. It's like it's so delusional. It's like it's why it's fucking this is why it feels like you guys are losing the fucking political and cultural war. It's because these people are so fucking out of touch.
Yeah, but
Random,
what do
yeah.
you want, bro? When like
Wait.
when we're retarded at PR, like what are we supposed to do?
wait, do you know who banned? Wait, I know. Do you know who banned Red 40?
Who?
California.
Oh,
that's cool.
Right?
I
Am
mean, I'm
crazy
cool with that.
about this? Maybe California banned Red. Yeah, Red. Here.
California's done a lot of good things, bro. I'm not.
Yeah.
No, he's
and
he's
I
not. Like,
love it.
just
If I really
crazy.
hated California, I would have moved.
Yeah.
But,
they banned Red
You
40 yellow.
I think you love living here. You just hate some of the choices that our government.
I hate
California
our
makes.
mayor. I hated our DA. I hate our governor. Our DA just got flipped. That's good news. Let's see if
Yeah.
our mayor and our
I'm
governor get flipped.
interested to see what he does. I'm willing to give anybody a chance. He doesn't sound like an unhinged lunatic to me, so
Yeah, he's not an unhinged lunatic,
Yeah, I
and
hope he does a great
Gascon was
job.
allowing dude. Gascon was allowing just fucking. He was allowing a mental asylum to just live among the streets of Los Angeles
yeah,
with no
that-
consequences
we do need to do
whatsoever. It was
something about
fucking
the
insane.
homeless issue, and we need to get.
Well,
these
we
people some
already
help.
had something. Like it has gotten worse, but at one point before COVID, homelessness was like not allowed to be everywhere in California. It was very specific to.
I
It was
remember
very specific
homelessness
to Skid
being
Row.
a
I do
huge
too.
issue.
I do too. In the poor areas. But now it
No,
was like
dog.
it.
Like I live in Marina Del
Man,
Rey. Right
oh,
around the corner
I
is
know.
Venice Beach.
No, I live over here too. Yeah, and Venice
Yeah.
Beach was far worse in 2020. In 2021, it was a mile long of homeless tents. There was 2 stabbings a week reported, and I remember
Jesus
one of the
Christ.
apartment videos would just went viral because would just report or just record the homeless all day and post the videos online. The mayor did nothing about it. The mayor was getting recalled. The first thing the mayor did when he was getting recalled was, okay, we're cleaning up Venice. And he did clean up Venice. But it was crazy. It took for his job to be at jeopardy before he fucking helped taking care of the citizens that live here and pay the fucking taxes, just to be here. And that's the same situation with Gascon. Like, I mean, these people are just allowing this craziness to happen. It's a pretty simple solution. It's not the nicest solution, but at the same time, man, when you see the violence, the rapes, the drug addiction, the needles on the ground, the crack pipes on the ground, you go, yeah, you can't just be nice anymore. Like, this has to stop.
We also have to be honest too about sometimes where that's coming from and why, right? Like it's being, one of the reasons homelessness is so big in California is because it's probably the best place in the world to be homeless.
That's exactly the problem. It's like 60% of the homeless are out-of-staters.
Well, it's really.
And once again, I'm thinking of South Park.
Yeah, just bust all your homeless to California.
Yeah.
That was a great episode.
But just getting rid of homeless people doesn't get rid of the homeless problem, and like.
No. The whole upholding laws, like heroin's now illegal. Well, shit, dude. If you want to come here and shoot heroin, you just go to jail. Like, sorry. You want to know what the real problem is? The problem is the homeless crisis unit being a fucking cartel operation and us not holding these people accountable. When you find out that there's people inside that homeless crisis unit that were the drug dealers that were funneling drugs through the homeless, and when you find out how much of the homeless is kind of just being pimped out by gangs, there's a fucking every homeless community out here, we call them tent cities. Every tent city has one fucking gang member that looks fresh as fuck who chills around there all day. And it's just a reminder that, yeah, dude, a lot of the drug problem that goes on with the homeless as well is a gang issue. Like, there's just people not being held accountable, and there's people, and then, yeah, I mean, it's just like the same thing when you hear about like the San Diego police chief was a part of like funneling like tons of cocaine, not tons, but like it was like I want to say like 1,000 pounds of cocaine. Like the San Diego police chief was a
And
part of
nobody told me?
aiding the cartel in funneling drugs. It's just the fact that these programs have been infiltrated and there's not anybody putting these programs in check. That's a major issue with the homeless. Like, dude, I mean, obviously it'd be great if we brought back asylums and we brought mental asylums instead of putting homeless people in prisons, which because they're breaking the law, they're on drugs,
Sure.
they're violent, they're on drugs. If we have proper asylums again, that would be the most ideal situation whatsoever. But I don't think they want to even create those kind of opportunities because of all the other bullshit and all the people and that are making money off of all the gang-like activity that goes on.
Well, also, like, there's this idea that, like, if you do something to try to fix the homeless issue, you're somehow, like, some heartless piece of shit. I think there are
People that are a part of those cartels, that are cops, that are politicians, that are it's just old school The Departed style shit. They don't just infiltrate our police officers, dude. There's people inside all of it. And then when you
Okay,
find
we're
out
back
like
up.
people who are running the homeless crisis centers here in Los Angeles are making 6 figures, when they make 6 figures, and then you find out that they're connected to drug dealing, they're connected to some of the cartels. You go, oh, it all makes sense, dude. Like, they're never gonna give this shit up.
What do you think about legalizing?
Oh, it all makes sense, dude. Like, they're never gonna give this shit up.
What do you think about legalizing most drugs?
I hate it. I hate that idea.
Really? You believe in?
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean,
if
the
the
stats
support showed,
have looked pretty good.
no, they haven't.
There's places that have done it, and it seems to have worked out all right for them.
Like Portugal,
What
Portugal,
spots?
for example, has like largely solved a lot of its drug problem.
By legalizing which drugs?
They decriminalized all drugs. They didn't legalize them, they
Decriminalize all drugs.
decriminalized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the very least, decriminalizing is a smart idea.
Oregon did it too, I believe.
Like putting people.
I
in
mean, here's the problem with something like that, dude. Even knowing alcoholics, I know that fucking people's lives get destroyed through alcohol. The legalization of things like crack cocaine and heroin will destroy even more lives.
I
I
don't know if
don't
I'm
really
with
think.
Yeah, but
legalization.
does that stop them from doing it? It just makes them punished after doing it after.
No, because you normalize the use of it. So the reason I mean, I'm not trying to ban alcohol. I think decriminalization, like, I don't believe in nonviolent drug charges should ever get high
What if?
offenses.
Yeah. What if?
I
what
never
if
believed that.
instead of like, again, like prison sentences, community service, whatever the fuck. What if like getting caught with like a certain amount of drugs means you're like mandated to go to rehab instead?
That makes
What's
more
up?
sense to me.
I said, what if like you're caught with like a certain amount of like a certain type of drug, instead of like, you know, getting a prison sentence or community service or whatever the fuck, you get mandated to go to like state funded rehab.
Man, you know, I don't really know if that should be allowed either.
Why?
State funded rehab. So you telling me our tax dollars are gonna pay for a bunch of junkies?
Well, yeah. I mean, the idea is that we turn them into functioning members of
Yeah.
society, right?
Don't you believe in funding things in the
I
state?
think that's a good.
Wait, don't you believe in state funding things that help all of us? Like when you want to fund things that make society better.
No, the same way that health insurance won't or life insurance won't pay if you have liver failure through alcoholism. Certain things have to come down to your own choices.
Do you
So
believe-
yeah, I do believe in the
Yeah, but,
sun.
like,
I do believe in the
If you
state
if
helping
you
people
are
who
if
need
you
it. Like,
have
let's
an
say you were in a car
addiction-
crash and you got hit by an illegal immigrant and you don't have the proper health insurance. Like, I believe in the state funding that. Like, that's more of a universal healthcare thing. If you are a drug addict, I don't believe in the state having to help you. I
yeah,
believe
but that's just typical underwriting if you're talking about
Wait,
insurance.
do you
right?
do you not
But-
believe in universal healthcare in general, or
I do. I just said.
Okay.
but you're
That
saying
would
I
be
don't believe in
covered.
health-
That sort of thing would
Oh.
be covered under universal health care.
do you know people who are drug
What?
addicts? Or
Yeah, I grew up with them.
do you have a certain? Is that like is it a bit of a personal thing? Like it's like, you know, fuck your choices. You know, you get what you deserve, kind of a.
No, absolutely not, bro. I grew up with drug addicts. I knew these people. I watched these people destroy their life. I let a friend who was addicted to heroin stay at my house for a month, bro. And there's just like I got my buddy a job working on a Camila Cabello video set, dude. He fucking pocketed the money from one of the producers. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Kendall. There's just a certain thing about drug addicts that they're not just helpless individuals. Like, they're just making poor fucking choices, criminal
Yeah, but
choices.
like, what if those choices are a result of the addiction, so that you're just stuck in this cycle?
Buddy, no, it's just the addiction is caused by poor choices, not the other way around. Dude, these people were already making poor choices to get there,
Do you think?
and then,
do you think
That might be
anyone's ever?
dude,
taught
I grew up with a buddy who they helped his brother 1,000 fucking times, dude. And eventually he did get off drugs, and then he tried to sleep with a little girl.
Oh,
and it was
you
just
told
like,
me
yeah,
about
dude,
that one. That was sick.
Right. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one gave me chills.
Yeah.
But like,
No,
you
that's
gotta
probably
understand,
well,
I grew up with a lot of this, dude. I grew up with a lot of drug addicts. So I definitely became more heartless because it wasn't that I hate them; it's because I knew them, and people constantly gave them chances, and I gave them chances,
But
and
it-
everybody was trying to help. And
But
I
are
still
they-
call my buddy Kendall up.
But like,
But are
but
they
I
drugs-
also feel like some people, like, on their own, don't have the capacity to make those choices without external help, without being forced to do them, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, a lot of
If
people
you're
have.
speaking hypothetically, then all right. But as being a human being who has gone out of his way to help those people, and then see them still fuck up, it's just a reminder. Like, yeah, dude, it's like you're fucking with a snake. Eventually, you're gonna get bit.
Well, then what if we had like a
Why would I?
what if
the
we
only
had like a
time-
strike system?
The only
like,
time I've seen, no, man, I'll tell you the truth. The only time I saw people get out and become healthier, like, I had a few friends who went to rehab, got out and became healthier, but a lot of them got arrested, finally got their lives together. Because I have a lot of friends on Facebook who used to be complete fuck ups and then got their shit together. And I have this one girl, she posted a whole TikTok that went a little viral of showing her era of being a fucking meth user, and now she's a mother. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy.
well, yeah. I
And,
mean, like,
you know,
what I'm
people
saying
getting
is like.
arrested.
what
You
I'm
think
saying
jail
is like,
time
what if you get arrested and they send you to like a rehab, which is essentially like a low security prison type deal,
Hmm.
right? Like I mean, prisons are state funded, right? We pay for prisons.
Yeah.
And so like it's the same type of deal, but like in this like minimum security prison, right? There's like a high focus on like dealing with drug addicts.
I guess it's a bit semantics here, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
I think we agree that maybe there needs to be some sort of something
Rehabilitation.
yeah, but here's the thing. When I think of prison, I think punishment. I don't think rehabilitation. You're talking about
We
prison.
are,
I agree.
You're
yeah.
talking
But
about
funny enough, man,
They can
you'd
be
be
the same
surprised.
thing.
Well, in the majority, they can be. They can be.
Mm-hmm. And
Depending
I
on
think
the
in
one.
this
You go
case,
to a-
we are
you
kind
go
of
to an
all
ex-
talking about the same sort of thing. We're just using different.
Now, I'm not
language
asking
for it.
them to go to fucking Rikers Island and then get stuck with
No,
getting
no,
fucking
no.
gang jumped by whatever Bloods or Crips are running
Yeah.
that prison. Right? That's not what I wish them. But not all jail is like just the most like extreme version of the prison
Sure.
movies we've seen. Like some
Sure.
people do find rehabilitation in jail.
it is also the prison industrial system is a thing though. Is that really what we want to do for? Like you're talking about the horrible things you saw, someone trying to sleep with little girls. Like that stuff's criminal behavior. Doing heroin is that
That's not
something?
somebody. That's not
No,
somebody
my
who we
point- my
think should
point-
be
my
with.
point with that. My point
ahead.
was that we watched that guy do heroin over and over and over again. He stole from his mom. He stole from my friends. He stole from his brother. They gave him a chance. They gave him a chance. He was in and out of rehab. This time he is sober, finally out of rehab. They're allowing him
That's
to live with
crazy,
his
though.
sister,
That's
and then he
fucking
slept
crazy.
he tried sleeping with the little girl. She ended up having to fucking tell her dad while he was
That's
living in the house with his
insane,
sister's
dog.
fiance. It was his sister's
Oh, God.
fiance's daughter.
That's so fucking.
Yeah, it was the fucking weirdest
gross,
shit.
man.
But
But
that's
I,
the thing to go to jail for, but the actual doing of the
but
drug.
it's
just-
it's you. What you gotta understand is, I mean, you're thinking of it all too hypothetically of invisible. Like I've just met too many people who just make poor choices, and poor choices that they make have been using drugs. Like not a lot of people I've met are just afflicted by the drugs, and as soon as they're off, they would make the right choices. Like
Yeah,
they're just
you would wanna
fucking
punish them
people
for the
that
drug
make
use?
poor choices.
Do we want to punish
So,
them
no.
or for the drug use, or do we want to go for the?
Here's
other
what I'll tell you,
choices?
because most people who are on drugs eventually make even worse criminal choices while they're on these drugs. That's why I don't want to normalize certain hardcore drugs. I don't even want fucking Percocets to be so damn normalized or Oxycontins to be so normalized. Those are legal, and those are the ones that destroyed a lot of my friend group. So no, I don't believe in legalize or even decriminalizing heroin or crack use, because even the ones that are legal right now are the ones destroying families all over this country.
What about the issue of like, our like terrible stats for like recidivism? Let's say somebody gets put in prison for like a drug offense, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the prison they go to and what the purpose of that prison is, there's a decently high chance they're going to end up back in the same situation again. I mean, like what we should be doing is ensuring that we have better programs for drug abusers.
I know it. Well,
prisons.
just getting, man, the most important thing you do is just creating programs to get people into society again, just working into
That's what I
society and
agree with
normalizing
that.
routine.
We're all going to
But
agree with
a lot
that.
of people just fall off the wagon. That's the thing.
True, but that's why part of those programs, like there should be programs for like cater like
And then there should be limits, bro. If you're a third-time offender, fuck you, dude. Maybe you should just do a little time because you're not learning your lesson.
we already kind of have like 3-strike systems, right? So,
Right, and then I believe in those systems, and I believe in giving people first and second chances. I always believe in that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with.
three-strike systems.
I don't have a problem with creating tier systems of like how extreme is this drug use? How extreme is what this person's done? How much other criminal behavior is tied to this? Is this just a guy who fucking fell asleep in a parking lot because he shot up heroin and the cops knocked on his door and saw that? So he went to jail? Like, no, I don't believe that guy should go to fucking prison for 5 years for doing nothing but getting caught. There's there's layers to it all. I absolutely believe there's layers. I think the majority of the kids that are on our streets right now, the homeless crisis that I walk by, that I see constantly, I used to ride the metro. I think a lot of this shit, like I see psychos, and Jordan sees it, psychos
Yeah, I know.
that
I've
are
seen that
fucking
shit.
banging shit Dude, and then
I got
they
into
get
a screaming match
arrested.
with a
They
tweaker in
harass
Venice
women in the
Beach one time.
streets. Bro, they harass women in the streets. They fucking attack people. And then they get arrested, and because they're a homeless person, no bail release. That happens all the time in Los Angeles. That kind of shit needs to stop.
Yeah,
That's the kind of shit where I don't care. And then we charge them for everything. And I say just let them sit in fucking prison for a while, unless you create a better mental institution for these kind of individuals, because
So-
it's much better for them to be in there than on these streets.
So I just pulled up an article from the National Institute on Drug Abuse on criminal justice drug facts. I'm just going to read through this article real quick, and we can talk about it either during or after.
Okay.
The substantial prison population in the United States is strongly connected to drug-related offenses. While the exact rates of inmates with substance use disorders, which we'll refer to as SUDs, is difficult to measure, some research shows that an estimated 65% of the United States prison population has an active SUD. That's pretty fucking high. Another 20% did not meet the official criteria for an SUD, but were under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of their crime. Decades of science shows that providing comprehensive substance use treatment to criminal offenders while incarcerated works, reducing both drug use and crime after an inmate returns to the community. Treatment while in jail or prison is critical to reducing overall crime and other drug-related societal burdens, such as lost job productivity, family disintegration, and a continual return to jail or prison known as recidivism. Inadequate treatment while incarcerated also contributes to overdoses and deaths when inmates leave the prison system. What are the challenges in addressing substance use disorders in this population? To be effective for this population, treatment must begin in prisons and be sustained after release through participation in community treatment programs. By engaging in a continuing therapeutic process, people can learn how to avoid relapse and withdrawal from a life of crime. However, only a small percentage of those who need treatment while behind bars actually receive it, and often the treatment provided is inadequate. Inmates with opioid use disorders particularly pose a challenge. This is kind of what you were talking about, Daniel. During their time in prison, many untreated inmates will experience a reduced tolerance to opioids because they have stopped using the drugs while incarcerated. Upon release, many will return to levels of use similar to what they used before incarceration, not realizing their bodies can... What's that?
Yeah, what you're saying right now, that's a huge cause of ODs. I've seen that happen to a couple people.
Yeah, not realizing their bodies can no longer tolerate the same doses, increasing their risk of overdose and death, just like you said. One study found that 14.8% of all former prisoner deaths from 1999 to 2009 were related to opioids. Insufficient pre-release counseling and or post-release follow-up are partially responsible for this alarming increase in mortality. Why is treatment so critical in this population? Scientific research since the mid-1970s shows that treatment of those with SUDs in the criminal justice system can change their attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors toward drug use, avoid relapse, and successfully remove themselves from a life of substance use and crime. For example, studies suggest that using medications for opioid use disorder treatment in the criminal justice system decreases opioid use. That seems pretty straightforward. Criminal activity post-incarceration, and infectious disease transmission. Studies have also found that overdose deaths following incarceration were lower when inmates received medications for their addiction. How are substance use disorders treated in the criminal justice system? The recent National Academy of Sciences report on medications for opioid use disorder stated that only 5% of people with opioid use disorder in jail and prison settings receive medication treatment. Interesting. A survey of prison medical directors suggested that most are not aware of the benefits of using medications with treatment, and when treatment is offered, it usually consists of only behavioral counseling and or detoxification without follow-up treatment. Effective treatment of substance use disorders for incarcerated people requires a comprehensive approach, including the following. Behavioral therapies, including cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps modify the patient's drug use, expectations, and behaviors, and helps effective manage triggers and stress. That's poorly written. Contingency management therapy, which provides motivational incentives in the forms of vouchers or cash rewards for positive behaviors. Medications include methadone, buprenorphine, and naltrexone. Yeah. Suboxone, yeah, is another one. I guess.
Suboxone, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah, I know about
A
that
lot of
one.
people on that shit.
Yep. Wraparound services after release from the criminal justice system, including employment and housing assistance, overdose education and distribution of the opioid reversal medication naloxone, while in justice diversion treatment programs or upon release. It sounds like one of the big things they're stressing here is that just one of these things isn't enough. You got to kind of do multiple, if not all of these things, to be effective. And it sounds like only 5% of people with opioid use disorder in jail are actually receiving multiple or all of these things. A specific focus on the medication treatment apparently seems to be very effective. Now, the important shit. What about the cost of treatment? Failure to treat substance use disorder in the criminal justice system not only has negative societal implications, but also proves to be expensive. One study of people involved in the criminal justice system in California showed that engagement in treatment was associated with lower costs of crime in their communities in the 6 months following treatment. In addition, the economic benefits were far greater for individuals receiving time-unlimited treatment. A report from the National Drug Intelligence Center estimated that the cost to society for drug use was $193 billion in 2007, a substantial portion of which, $113 billion, was associated with drug-related crime, including criminal justice system costs and costs borne by victims of crime. The same report showed that the cost of treating drug use, including health costs, hospitalizations, and government specialty treatment, was estimated to be $14.6 billion, a fraction of those overall societal costs. It is estimated that the cost to society has increased significantly since the 2007 report, given the growing costs of prescription drug misuse. Science suggests that even those who are not motivated to change at first can eventually become engaged in a continuing treatment process, suggesting it is a myth that treatment has to be voluntary to work. More information can be found in the Principles of Drug Abuse Treatment for Criminal Justice Populations, a research-based guide. NIDA-funded scientists are actively seeking solutions through the NIH HEAL, Helping to End Addiction Long-Term initiative. In addition, to support those who work with juveniles and adults within the court system, including judges, counselors, social workers, caseworkers, and others, NIDA has created materials and has identified other helpful resources that can be used in educating offenders and those who work with them about the science related to drug use, misuse, and addiction. So based on this article, it really seems like spending money on treatments for this ends up saving us money in the long run. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like to me. Obviously, this is just one paper, but I don't know.
I just think
You should read the other 15.
You know, in the
right?
same way, in the same way we have like police, like we have police kind of doing too many jobs that police shouldn't do, and that leads to like often leads to the wrong kind of them attending to something it shouldn't be them, and then the wrong thing happens, right? I feel like in the same way, we need to have something set up specifically to deal with drug use more and give that more power than to just kind of rope everything into jail, you know? I feel like that's the only thing. I think we need some nuance in dealing with the issues and not treating it the same way as we would murder, you know?
And it is going to cost a little bit of money at first, but it seems like in the long run, it may serve to save us a lot more money over time. So perhaps
the best way to do that is to handle it state by state, right? We should just make it a situation
I think we
where
already
then we could review the actual data.
Yeah, I think we already do that, right? Prison stuff is state by state. Yeah, and I don't think anyone's intending to change that. There is a federal prison system, obviously, but that's for FBI related cases. Yeah, like terrorism, like those like supermax prisons, like and criminals that go across state lines, right? But for things like drug offenses, like 99% of the time, that's going to be something that's handled by the state, unless it's like a cartel or something like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I have to jump off probably soon. Just want to just a heads up.
Okay. What we want to maybe give 10 more minutes here, and then we'll
Yeah.
wrap it up for the night.
Yeah, what do you want to say? What would because you asked a question earlier, like how I felt about Trump. What else? What are your biggest worries about Trump?
Me, I'm very worried about Trump. To be fair, I'm really worried about, both sides for different reasons.
Same.
I've been pretty worried about the literal kind of pro-terrorist aspect.
Oh God.
Dramatic-
Yeah, we're all gonna agree on that one.
But that I recognize that's an insidious form of that shit happening kind of on the left, where your tolerance has grown to tolerate intolerance, right? And it's kind of like that horseshoe effect where you come around.
Yeah.
But Trump, he's a really I know too much. He's a bad dude. He's a really bad guy. I follow too much of his. I'm not talking about media blowing him up to be things he's not, and the lies in the media. Yeah, the media does that on both ends, right? They've made Trump out to be. They've lied about certain things he said and the way he said it. But there's a lot of stuff you can just straight from the horse's mouth. He's just like he's a liar. He's a pathological liar. And I don't know why we would put a pathological lying narcissist in charge of the nation. He's not that smart in a lot of areas.
That's all we ever put in charge of the nation.
No, I don't.
I mean, he's not entirely wrong, Josh.
I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. Yes,
I do.
Why?
Where are you
But
from,
I don't
Josh?
believe. People
He's
are
from
different.
Canada.
Statistically
Oh, yeah,
speaking,
that's right.
statistically speaking, most politicians are not pathological liars. Like he lies about
They
things
do
he-
lie a lot, but I guess you're right. Not pathologically necessary.
No, people lie in politics. That's sure, but that's a choice. He lies without even trying. Like he has a pathological thing where he just lies about everything. It's just what he feels in the moment. He says it. He has a stream of.
I think you're stuck a little bit too much on extreme Democrat media because all they do is highlight the most negative news source. The thing is, dude, the guy goes on talking, especially during this campaign alone. This man averaged like one rally and a podcast a day, like a podcast or an interview a day. So when you see countless hours of him talking, it's so easy to find, oh, he lied about this, he lied about that, he lied about that. And so it's just like CNN cutting up countless works. But I'm like, he's also speaking more than any other politician or presidential candidate I've ever seen. Like he is
I would actually say CNN has been a lot more lenient towards him.
I would say that. I would
Yeah.
say, MSNBC, the new CNN.
Sure, but I watch all of them. I watch media across.
Watch all of them, bro. Watch
Yeah,
the view.
if we all do, then hopefully we can
Listen
say
to the Morning Joe show.
yeah, it's not just left wing media, right? I listen to him. I actually listen to him give.
Yeah, me too, bro. I listen to him
Yeah.
more than I've
Yeah.
ever have before, and I gotta say, I just feel like listening to him. I listen to actual policies. I listen to actual plans. I listen to them to talk about introducing individuals into our government to make things change. I heard him listen to people's complaints and about what needs to happen and take in new information and give his opinion on how to
I have a
fix
question,
it. And
though.
I didn't get that from any candidate.
I have
on
a
the
question
Democrat
for
side.
you though, Dan.
Are you sure you're not watching them do all? the
Hang
candidates-
on. Let me ask this
I watched
question.
Trump on Lex Friedman. I watched Trump on Rogan. I watched Trump on Theo.
But
and
let me
Flagrant.
ask.
watched-
I think this is a poignant question.
on
right?
Tyrus's. Yeah, go ahead.
You do recognize that all politicians lie, including Trump, right?
Yeah,
of
course.
If you're watching him all of this time and a lot of the stuff sounds good,
I watched him more this year than probably the last 7 years combined.
that's great. That's perfectly fine. You should be. He's the president, right?
Yeah, but why do you believe
Um,
that?
But let me ask my question.
Okay.
How do you know, like, because I don't even know everything about politics and every topic all the time, right? How do you know when what he's telling you is the truth or not?
Because, I mean, no matter how you look at it, I think he did a lot more stuff for the people when they came in and tried to help. When Kim and Kanye came to his office and Jim Brown was working with him to try to get people freed, he created the First Step Act. When people reach out to him
I'm not talking
about getting.
that, right? Like, how do you, as a person who's watching him speak and saying these things to you that sound really good, right? In that moment when you're listening, right? Like, how
Yep.
do you know when the thing he's saying is true and when the thing he's saying is false, right? Like I could say the same thing like when I watch Joe Biden, right? Like who I'm obviously very partial to his policies and stuff over the last few years. I would admit that there's plenty of times where I've found out afterwards, after watching him, that okay, he blew a little smoke up my ass on this thing, right? And I'd say, okay, well, I guess I got lied to a little bit, or I got misled a little bit. Like, how do you know what he's telling you is or isn't true at any particular time?
By actions. Actions speak louder than words. And,
No, but but actions,
no,
you can do all the actions in the world, and that might not have any reflection on the truth of your statement.
I think he's gonna pass a bunch of executive orders, and it's with a bunch of shit
So-
I agree on.
So
Right
hang on,
off the
let me clarify something here. When I say whether he's lying or not, I'm not talking about what he's going to do or what he's not going to do. I'm talking about
you got to give me an example. It's too
yeah.
broad.
I'm
If
talking
you had
about
an example, like he said he would do this and then he didn't.
that's
that would
not
be
what
an
I'm.
amazing
Yeah, so I'm
conversation.
not talking about. I'm not talking about what he says he's going to do. I'm talking about when he
Yeah, I
talks
mean-
about facts,
Jordan,
right?
Jordan,
When he
Jordan,
says
wait, wait.
this many people, for example, like let's say, and I'm just going to use this example. I'm not using this as like an accurate example to say like, oh, he lied about this. I'm using this as an example to illustrate what I'm asking. Like when he's like, let's say he says like this many millions of people crossed the border, right? How do you know that
Yeah.
that's true? When he says
Because
we-
he's talking, he's more in contact with leaders of the border than
yeah, but
probably
you're
any
just
other
you're
politician.
just trusting him, is what I'm saying.
No, he speaks with Tom. Have you listened to our new guy, Tom Homan? Like that guy's legit. That guy knows the numbers. That guy
Sure.
knows the statistics, and that's who our new
But
border czar
again,
is.
again,
And that's
what's
somebody
happening
who he
here?
speaks regularly with.
So,
So
what
when
I'm-
I hear him, I'm sure he's just repeating info that he has been told.
That's
I know that.
what I'm
I know that to
saying,
be a
right?
fact.
that's
And
what I'm
that's
saying.
fine, but I want to know who he gets his info from. When I find out Tom Homan's the person he gets his info from, well, I trust the info.
Okay,
I know that guy's put in the work.
that's a
So
somewhat
when-
fair position. And Josh, let me just say one more thing, and then you can go
Okay.
ahead. My point is, when I hear like something that Biden says that I'm not sure about, or that Trump says that I'm not sure about, my first instinct is to go and look at the data that's been put out there and analyze like the papers, analyze the methodology of the studies, like how did they do the study, how do we know that the methodology of the study is sound, right? I
That's what you
think
should do
to
as an
me
individual. I agree.
that's really valuable.
He's the president of the United States, though. He has 1 million phone calls and 1 million meetings every single day of his life, and he hires specific
Anybody
people.
could
And his
tell him
admin.
anything.
Hold on. No. Again, he hires people who he trusts. Now, this is what he said in one of his speeches in 2016. He thought, it was a big deal to become president, and he got told by a lot of people, hire people within who are of long-term experience in politics. And I've heard him describe, he's like, you don't want somebody fresh and new. They might not know what they're doing. You still want somebody with experience in politics. But he said, I didn't hire all the right people in 2016. And he's like, and I'm going to make sure that I don't do that again in 2024.
And
I'm
we'll
going to make
see.
sure I bring in the right, trustworthy people to run these departments.
And
then they're
I'm-
the ones who report the info to him. And then he
I'm
has to work
always
with the
going to
info he's
agree with
given.
you on that experience point, right? You know that I will. And we'll see how that goes. I think I'm not going to push any more on this because I think I've made my question pretty clear. All I'll say
Hey, did
is
you hear
just-
Dr. Oz?
Well, give me 2 seconds. Let me just
cabinet?
finish.
Yeah,
Let me
go
just
ahead,
finish this
go ahead.
sentence. Yeah.
And now I want to hear Josh.
And I will say I don't trust Dr. Oz any farther than I could throw him, but all I'm saying is keep in mind what I'm saying about that, and I don't know, maybe take that extra step to just go look the shit up next time. That's all.
I mean, but you got to give me an example of what he has said that's wrong and what needs to be looked up, and I will take the time to look it up. But if you're just throwing blanket statements
So
of like,
yeah,
he's a liar,
I can't I'm not.
then
how
you,
about
you
this?
gotta bring the research next
Yeah,
time.
how about this?
Tell
me-
I'll
this is
bring
what Trump did wrong.
examples next time, and maybe
Okay.
like going forward, like rather than go in the past, because I don't want to dwell on the past. As we move forward, like if he says something that I'm skeptical about, and I go and I look it up, I'll bring that for our next conversation. We can talk about.
Okay. Go ahead, Josh. What were you saying?
Well, it's weird. It's one of those things where I feel like I've watched him lie so much. It's like hard to grab one sometimes, right?
Wait,
He lies as easily as he breathes. I genuinely feel that. I mean, even I'm not just talking.
I mean, like, we don't need the
Like-
rhetorical stuff. Let's just be
No, I'm not. That's
right. If you don't come with hard fact
Not-
or examples, if you don't have hard examples,
Did
then
he make Mexico build the border wall? He
Yeah.
said it over again. Did he make Mexico pay for the wall? I'm gonna make Mexico.
he did. He tariffed the hell out of them, and then they did a
That's not the
contrast
same
of
thing.
the.
Not making
But
any-
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. He told them you're gonna pay for the wall one way or another. What you guys chose to use is and he said, all right, well if they're not gonna directly pay for the wall, then here's how I'm gonna make sure that we get the funding for
Yeah,
the
but
wall.
we
And the
pay
terror
for
side
it.
throw towards. And then you know what, dude? He was building the wall. They pushed this whole message
That's
that he
fine.
didn't
I
build
don't.
the
I
wall.
don't give two
Talk about
shits
the lie.
about
And
the wall.
there's
at
like
this
this
point.
constant. There's this constant lie that's told, and then they push this lie that the wall has no effect. But there's like this constant lie that's being
I
told.
mean, I don't care too much about the wall. It's not that expensive, and I really do think it doesn't have much of an effect. But
And
I there's far more people who come over.
if we were to
for
break
other
down the
certain
math
reasons.
of how much we are funding and how much we're like spending on our imports and exports towards that, and what his tariffs put, and how much money it saved, and then you look at the funding and what the wall was being built from his sources and from his mouth, he said they were paying for that wall because of their decisions.
Yeah, but
not to pay for the wall anyway.
realistically, we pay.
Realistically, when you're an
Americans pay
accountant,
for
a
tariffs.
distribution, nah, because a distribution of the wealth, making sure that, okay, well, if this is our funding that's going here, then we can redistribute it over here is an important part in functioning this country.
I mean,
And like
but couldn't
people
you
are
say that
trying to
about
put too
anything?
much.
Couldn't you say that about, like,
Absolutely, all
anything?
businesses are used that way.
Yeah, but
And
then
if
you
you
could
wanna go ahead
literally do like you could
and make
find
more
so
money out of
many
market,
different
and
ways.
you know if you know your tomatoes are every day just selling out, like as soon as you come in stock, you don't get another
Yeah,
stock.
but
For
my
another,
my point
are you
is
not
that,
gonna put the money towards buying more tomatoes if it means you gotta buy less
Sure,
squash?
Sure, but hang
Like
on.
you could relate that concept towards
my-
any level of business, and that
Yeah,
was
but
a business move he made with Mexico, in which he succeeded. Like it's
Yeah,
not.
but the
Also,
problem
you gotta
is,
look at the economy
let me
was
just
under.
outline.
Oh,
Let me
go ahead.
outline this real quick. What I'm saying. So you can sort of construct a logical circle to make it look like Mexico paid for the wall in like a bunch of different
Not a
ways.
logical circle. You guys are just being literal, and in a sense where he's playing 4D chess, where he's using business strategy and making sure that we're getting our money's worth out of shit. I think he is a smart man behind these decisions.
I think Trump is playing 4D chess.
Absolutely, because I listened to an economist break down his tariffs, and if you follow the chat, I'll throw that economist his research and how
Yeah,
he
give us
explained what the whole
the
tariff
give us the
system is.
stuff in
I mean,
the.
I'll start, dude. I'm gonna start flooding your chat with shit. bro,
Yes,
for sure.
please do post
Because
it. Post
you
it.
gotta
I want
listen
you
to this man break it down.
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
want you
no,
to.
Trump is a far better businessman than people give him credit for.
I actually I would really appreciate it. Not in like a, oh yeah, I'd really like. No, I
Yeah.
genuinely would appreciate it if you started posting things, because in my Discord server it is very one-sided. It is very leftist. I want more
Oh,
balanced.
dude, I'm about
viewpoint.
to start posting so much of the Cartier.
Go
family
for
on
it.
that shit.
Just
It's
be
gonna
ready because
crazy.
they're gonna push on you, bro.
I don't give a fuck.
I know
dude.
you don't give a
I mean,
fuck. I know you don't give a fuck.
I wanna be presented with facts, and you actually have
100%.
some of the nicest friends. I could tell as well, Jordan, where you give reasonable debates, and you
Yeah.
actually just have debates and not screaming
I've
matches.
really
not
enjoyed this
name-calling
conversation,
matches.
by the way.
Like,
Both of
you're just
having both of
you're
you
a
here.
racist type of like I'd rather
Yeah,
have
of course not.
conversation.
Of course not.
Yeah,
You might run into
absolutely.
some clownishness in the Discord server. Just ignore it and pay attention to the reasonable discussion.
Oh, you're just talking about like the funny memes, shit post memes.
Well,
Those
yeah,
are
but
always
like
funny,
some
bro.
people can get a little spicy
Those are cool, though.
sometimes. Just
Oh,
ignore
that's
that
fine
shit.
too,
and,
bro.
yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta remember, man. I kind of thrive.
I
off
know,
negative
I
energy.
know. You're already.
I
used
get
to it.
real worked up, and dude, I feel like my fucking neurons fire fast when
Yeah,
I get
but
worked
like
up.
obviously, if you're talking to me or Josh here, you're always gonna get a respectful conversation. We might get passionate,
That's
we might
cool.
get into it like we are tonight, but we're always gonna be respectful towards each
This
other.
is very calm.
Yeah.
This is very calm. But yeah, no, I mean, what else do you have in mind, Josh? Like, is an example of what he's lied on?
Yeah, I'll look. I mean, we can easily look up Trump lies. He lied about awards he's gotten. He lies about. He said he was.
Like those are some pretty funny ones. I mean, yeah, if he's lying about.
even after he's proven to have lied about it, he continues to make a lie about the lie. Like he keeps.
Well, shit, dude. Obama spied on Trump during his campaign, and Obama's never once admitted to that. You know, like
Yeah, that was
all these people are little
Okay,
corrupt liars.
so
dude.
I
need
Obama
to go
got
look
a
this
little
up.
Dirtiness to him.
I
Wait,
need to
that's-
go look this up, but my understanding at this point, and take this with a grain of salt, please do not take this as me saying I know this for sure. I heard this somewhere. I need to go look this up before I can say this for sure. But what I heard was that he was looking, and you're gonna hate this because I'm about to say the one country
Just
name
say it real quick.
that we always
say it.
talk about.
Russia,
Um,
Russia.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, dude, which has been proven not only to be a hoax, but has been proven that
I mean,
dude,
Manafort
Hillary
went to
Clinton-
Manafort got charged, like got convicted, and like people got convicted. It wasn't proven necessarily a hoax. I think they showed that, you know, people were expecting Trump to be like in the middle of it, like having his little fingies inside of everything, and that kind of got
But man,
proven not to be so true. But yeah. What they found was when they were observing Russian communications, they found
Yeah.
people that were associated with his campaign out of pure chance. You know, they weren't intending
here's
to
the other
look
thing,
after
Josh.
those
Here's the
people.
other thing.
Well, let me
Wait,
just
can I-
finish the sentence. Let me just finish the sentence.
okay.
Right,
When they were looking at, when they were looking into Russian espionage, they were, you know, spying on Russian communications within the United States. It just so happened as they were listening, they were like, "Are these guys fucking talking with Paul fucking Manafort?" Just by chance, it turned out that he was talking to them. It's not that they set it up to listen to him. It's that they were listening to Russian communications, and while listening to Russian communications, they realized that the person that they were talking with was like Paul Manafort.
He claimed Obama was born in Kenya. Remember that whole thing, the birther thing? That's
Yeah.
Yeah, but
for-
no, it's pre-presidency, the beginning of the birther movement,
Yeah.
which was, you know, largely due because Obama wouldn't show his birth certificate, which was like a strange thing.
I
I
mean,
think
it's-
you can. I think it's okay to admit that was kind of fucked, though.
that's-
You know,
that's-
it's funny. No, not really. I mean, at the time,
forgot
it's
he
like,
did.
why wouldn't he provide his birth certificate? Every president does.
No, they don't. No one just provides their birth certificate on demand. It was a racist kind of demand that he was making. Why? Why should he? Why is he?
Well,
even-
because there's only two real laws that allow you to run for presidency, and it's that you're over the age of 35 or you're born in America. So if you're breaking one of them, I mean, it would be pretty important to get to the bottom of it.
You don't think he was trying
No,
to put some shit
no,
in the
I think
air?
I think he got sucked into a conspiracy. I think a lot of people, you know,
He's really conspiratorial. That's
a lot of people believe that Obama wasn't showing his birth certificate and that he wasn't born in Hawaii like he said he was. That he was born in Kenya and moved to Hawaii as a baby. So because of that conspiracy, all the simplest thing that needed to be done was, here's my birth certificate, you morons. You know, but
Yeah,
instead he let that play
He
for
did- I mean, he
fucking
did
half a
eventually.
year. Yeah,
You know-
yeah, like 7 months later.
Yeah, but because you're playing it, you actually had a conspiracy theorist for a president is extremely dangerous. He plays to all those people, like
Well,
stealing the election, all that stuff. It was stolen last time, but not this time. Like
Dude,
all of that.
there
stuff.
was a weird thing that happened in that 2020 election that, I mean, nobody from my grandparents'
Yeah, it was called
perspective have
COVID.
experienced before.
It's not
Right. COVID.
Respectfully, there was not a weird thing that happened.
I mean,
There
it
was
was
the glitch.
weird.
There was that glitch that jumped up 300,000 votes.
Yeah, but
like
we
that, or
already
was it
talked about
180,000
this.
votes?
Like we
But
we
that
knew
that little
was gonna
glitch in
happen
the
ahead
system
of
when you
time.
watch something like a count system,
It's not
like
a
that wasn't
glitch.
like all the.
There was
It
votes.
was. It
No,
was. It was.
we knew that was gonna happen.
We knew
that
it
was gonna
with
the
happen
mail-in
ahead of
ballots.
time.
Right,
Yeah,
we're talking
Look,
about that ahead of
they
time.
weren't
for
even
all-
allowed to
Mail-in
count them up
ballot.
until a certain point in the night. That was
right, and I
literally
get
what
that.
They were saying at the beginning of all the election counting last time. I followed it so closely. They were like, "There's going to be a
Look
lot
at the
of votes by
graph.
mail."
The graph.
and then
Was it?
and
Was it
Democrats-
Michigan?
It's
Was
gonna
it Michigan?
They said it's going to skew heavily Democrats vote by mail because Trump was saying that all that was going to be.
I mean, the same kind of thing happened in reverse this last election. Like in the
Yeah.
beginning, right? Pennsylvania looked like it was going to go to Kamala, and then that totally changed by the end of the night.
that, or vote
But
by mail
again-
that happened by Republicans.
And we don't have a problem with that. We don't think there's anything weird about that, right?
it's
No, we had a lot more people also try to make policies pass over these last 4 years for a higher election integrity. You
if
know,
Biden claimed
Yeah, but
that
most of
this
them
was a
didn't
stolen-
actually pass.
I have a question for you. If Biden claimed this was a stolen election, or Kamala claimed that, right? Got all the supporters on the left riled up, said, "Are the elections
dude,
stolen?" And I'm not
you
going.
guys already did that in 2016.
I
You guys
don't.
claimed
Well,
nonstop
yeah, but
Russian hoax,
It didn't claim
conspiratorial stuff. It was the
but she
fact that
conceded the next day, though.
conceded immediately. Immediately conceded. Trump has never conceded the election. He has never
I know.
said, "I lost the election," ever.
I know, ever. He's never said it.
That is it's authoritarian behavior. That is
It's not authoritarian behavior. I think
Well,
it's behind the behavior of a
I
human
think-
being that
I
truly believes
think-
that there was corruption that went on.
Or
And I do believe corruption goes on.
or both of you are wrong, and it's the behavior of a narcissist.
No, he can believe it all he wants. It is narcissistic behavior and conspiratorial behavior, and we need a president who's not like that.
I don't
What do you
think.
mean we?
I'll
You're
say
Canadian.
this.
I'm just kidding.
I'm for this man. I voted here too. I'm a dual.
Uh-oh, we got
Cool.
dead Canadian
Cool,
votes
cool.
coming in. We got dead Canadian votes coming in. No. Okay.
I got triple loyalties.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, the thing is, like, I don't think that Trump was trying to be authoritarian. I genuinely don't think he was trying to be authoritarian. I do think his ego kind of wouldn't let him accept the fact that he lost to, a
Not to
skeleton
mention
like Joe
the
Biden.
heightened times that were existing during that era, which people try to brush off. Like January 6th was the most insane thing to happen, but it's like the 6 months
BLM was
I watched
fucked
the
up
country
too.
burn.
BLM was fucked up too. I agree. Like the violence in BLM was super fucked up. I agree.
Yeah.
Dude, the autonomous zone of Seattle.
That
you know
was
what I mean?
so
Like,
crazy, bro. I can't believe
was
they
insanity.
did that shit. I can't believe it.
I mean, there was just so many weird things that happened during that time. That
Yeah.
all right, dude. If we're willing to forgive everybody else, I'm willing to forgive Trump because he did do things that I found out.
I don't know.
wrong
I mean,
well
like,
during
but
that
I
era.
don't. I mean, like, I don't forgive people who did violence during BLM.
Wait, how can you forgive?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Trump
so I don't know if I agree.
I
with
forgive Trump.
I
I forgive
don't-
Trump on the trying to push the fake electors, which I found wrong. That's the one thing. That's pretty much the only thing I found wrong. I know, and
Yeah.
I do, and I want to give him another chance because I still found him a better
I
president.
mean, whether
But
I want
I
to give
do
him
not
another
support-
chance or
I do not
not,
support those kind of actions. I promise you that.
whether I want to give him another chance or not, the fact of the matter is he's getting
Everything
another
else,
chance.
him saying the election was stolen, I see the hesitancy in believing in that election because of all the weirdness that happened.
I get
and him
genuinely
him-
believing that the election was
January
stolen.
6th happening. January 6th
But
happened.
everyone around him in his legal team, in
All of them.
his cabinet, they were all telling him that it was not stolen.
I
And
know.
so I don't know.
Ivanka
And
said it
so
was.
I don't know, right? Like
I don't believe the election was stolen either. I don't.
No, I know you
spent a lot of
don't. I
time-
know you
do
don't.
believe fraud exists. I don't. But I do believe a lot of fraud exists.
but
and
not
I do
enough to
believe
really
in
sway an
having a
election
higher-
at this point. I agree,
Exactly,
fraud happens
exactly.
in
That's how
every
I felt.
election.
That's how
yeah.
I felt.
I think they showed
don't know
more
if-
fraud on the Republican side than the Democrats.
Oh, we're not gonna do that right now. We're not gonna
Saying-
do that right now. That doesn't matter. We're only talking about.
I'm just saying.
Show me that article. Show me that article.
Sure.
See, now you have to show an article, Josh. What are you doing?
You gotta come up with facts for that one. Because I do know that in the 6 major states that vote heavy blue, those are all the states that we require no voter ID at all to be shown. And I do know when I voted in California, they did not check for my ID.
And
All I had to
have
do was
said-
confirm where I
and I know
live
you-
and my name.
I
And
know
find
you
that
agree
fucking
with
insane,
me.
dude.
I know
find that
you agree
insane.
with me on this. That me as a Democrat, I am totally okay with voter ID laws as long as we get free IDs to everybody. Then I'm fine.
Yeah,
with
and that's fine by me,
Yeah.
dude. I'm willing to fund that. That's,
Yeah.
that's all, dude. That's easy for me. I'll
Mhm.
go ahead and I would hope that we can all come in agreement across America. Like voter IDs must be shown, but you are allowed free free IDs, state IDs
Yep.
nationwide, and
and
I
easily
would
accessible
totally
too.
support that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Free state IDs as easily as accessible as applying for unemployment, but even easier because you don't got to fucking prove yourself.
Yeah.
I'll give you too lazy to look up any shit right now.
You just
so
got
I'll
to
get it.
provide like your social security number or something like that, and then it's like, okay, we
Yeah.
can check your social
and
security
and
number.
that right there
Yeah.
would be making me feel far more comfortable than to see my 6 deep blue states all have no voter checks whatsoever, no voter ID checks
Yes.
whatsoever.
However,
It makes me highly like it makes me not just believe. I just don't believe in that system.
I do want to say,
and so that's what creates skepticism.
I do want to say, you're living in California. This state ain't going red, good buddy. It's not happening.
Bro, you'd be surprised though.
No, I mean, there's a lot of Republican voters here. Of course, it's a massive state. It's the most populous state in the country. But ain't no way California's going red anytime soon.
If
believe
Republicans
that.
Democrats continue to change who they are, things can change. Reagan made everything red, right?
true.
Like if they continue,
Yeah.
Democrats doesn't mean
Minnesota.
liberal or left, and Republican doesn't mean conservative or right. It can mean whatever the next person makes it mean.
Yeah,
Trump can
that's fair.
change what that is in the party.
Here's
right?
what I
True.
hope.
Change.
I hope
Take Nixon,
Trump.
for example. Look how many people. Look how red they went for Nixon.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why
Well,
it
wasn't
was so red for Nixon.
wasn't
Oh,
like
wait,
the
let me finish
Southern
this.
shift or whatever under Nixon?
No, listen, dude. The reason so many people voted for Nixon, I didn't know this, is or was it Reagan? Fuck, is this the reason why Reagan? Was so red?
Reagan
Who
won
was it?
every
Hold up.
state but one.
Reagan
Who
won.
was it? But yeah, he didn't win Minnesota. That's the only.
Yeah,
one.
against Mondale.
Yeah.
But here you gotta. I think it was Nixon, but I might be wrong. It might be Reagan, but one of these two major, like our biggest Republican winners ever, it was because the opposing candidate, the VP of the opposing candidate. I gotta look this up because now it's gonna bug the
It's
hell
got
out
to
of me.
be Reagan.
But
and
apparently
Mondale, right?
he had one of the worst interviews. He had an interview so extreme, like so like baffling that the entire American population said, "Oh, we can't let this guy in office."
Yeah, I mean it's got to be Reagan and Mondale because
it was one of the most massive shifts that anyone's
Reagan-
seen. And
You remember
Reagan
John
won
McCain?
it was
all but one state.
We know that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just said it. Minnesota. He didn't win Minnesota.
And I think
But it
what
was
Mondale must have
most
been
of that
for.
wasn't just because of policy or because Reagan was so fucking cool. It was because the other VP was literally such a nightmare, had such a horrendous interview that people were like, "This is insane. Like we can't
And
put this in
Reagan-
office at all."
Reagan was also
Bro, you'd be surprised, but the worst candidate will probably create California red if a Democrat gets put up. That's so
Sure.
horrendous. I
yeah,
still
like
believe-
if
I still
Ilhan
believe in people.
if Ilhan
to
Omar
rise
was the nominee.
But as
Appreciate
long
it.
as you have
Neighborhoods
cool
and-
talking, charming governors like Gavin Newsom, who I hate his policies, I don't like him. I think he's a sleazeball, cheater, and a liar. Like I think he's just a disgusting human being as far as his actions go. You know his so there's just so many things about Newsom I dislike. And then but anytime he gets up in an interview, he's a very charming, charismatic politician.
Mhm.
Like he's good at what he does.
Reagan was too. Charming politician from California.
Yeah, dude.
Except I don't think he's
What'd you
What did
say?
you say, Josh? I missed that.
That's kind of how I feel about DeSantis, but I don't think he's that charming.
Yeah,
dude,
DeSantis.
he's got a horrible personality disorder.
Yeah.
The Florida people love DeSantis. The Florida people love DeSantis because I'm born and raised in Florida, Josh.
I don't think
like,
DeSantis.
I
can
watched-
win on the national
I'll tell you right
stage.
now, Josh. I watched Florida. Remember, Florida voted for Obama both times. They voted for Clinton both
I
times.
remember that.
They voted for Bush both times. Florida was a decider usually. The
Florida-
first election they lost in like 19 elections was the 2020. They voted for Trump. But I remember watching Florida turn more red. Like I always saw it as very middle. Like it's very pro gay out there. It's very pro, like it's very accepting. It's way more accepting than even liberal California thinks they are because there's way more rednecks accepted in like what would be a black plus gay party. Like you just have mixes of people that I see more
Now
so out there. But
They
it
went
became
more.
way more red. It has become more red, but they have as much as they love DeSantis and like his policies and cleaning up California, like even people I know just go, yeah, I just don't see him as a president though.
Well,
Like, I've heard a lot of people.
don't you
Pretty
worry,
nice.
Daniel. As the California exodus continues, we're gonna take over Florida.
I have this
Now
belief.
that Exodus
Tell
thing
me I'm
ended up
wrong.
being in favor of Texas and Florida. Funny
Tell me
enough.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, I
I
know.
have this belief that I think it really always comes down to charisma, a certain type of charisma for winning.
Charisma for sure, for
With
sure.
one exception, with the exception with like Biden and Trump, because
Kamala had none.
Trump had so
Trump's
much.
got charisma, man. He really does. You just see such a
Yeah,
negative light of him.
Trump. Look,
And
you
I'm
just
not a
ignore
fan.
the fact that he's
Listen,
like beloved among
no,
people.
Josh,
Dude,
Josh,
he got an
Josh.
aura from the moment he walks
You're
into
not
the
understanding me.
UFC.
You're not
He's got
understanding me.
charisma.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, you're not understanding me. You're not understanding me.
Go ahead.
That's not what I said. I said with the exception of Biden and Trump, because Trump, I think, has more charisma than Biden by far.
Yeah,
In 2020. Got you.
In 2020, you're talking the 2020 election.
I'm saying
Yeah,
Biden. I'm saying
It's
Biden
just because
won-
of it was because of
there's
COVID.
a reason Obama.
hatred. He had so much hatred of Trump at that time that it overwhelmed.
Yeah, I agree.
Like nobody was excited about Biden. They just wanted Trump gone at the time.
Which
Yeah,
I don't
that's what they're
understand.
agreeing on.
Biden was based liberalism, okay?
Biden is not exciting, and neither is Kamala.
He's not exciting, but you know, as a classical, like a real fucking
I like Bernie at the
liberal
time.
Democrat, I love.
Yeah, I like
Biden's
Bernie at the time.
policies.
I don't like Bernie.
I like
anymore.
Bernie at the time. I'm really
I don't
frustrated.
really. Yeah, I'm not a huge.
I don't like
Bernie
Bernie
guy
anymore either.
nowadays. Yeah, I think
I
we
used
all
to-
can
I know,
agree on
dude.
that.
Well, you know it's crazy with you guys, right? Like I didn't vote in 2016, but Bernie was probably going to be the first person I ever voted for. That was kind of where I was set on.
I
was a
voted for
bro-
him
I
in
was
the
a Bernie bro.
primary in 2016.
I was a
but
Bernie bro.
then
I was ready to vote for Bernie, and then when
did
the
my
reveal
Democrat duty
came
and
that the
voted for
Democrat,
Hillary in the-
Yeah, I did.
when the Democrat Party fucked him royally, I was like, I ain't gonna vote. I mean, hell no. I don't care about Trump or Hillary. And then by 2020, I was just focused heavily on where our country was. And to me, I saw the red Republican states just ran with more freedom than the blue states during lockdown. So in my mind, like I was fully like, I'd rather have Trump in office because he's going to allow freedom, as opposed if we get a Democrat in office, he's going to post something like all the unvaccinated are going to experience a winter of death on the White House website, because that's what fucking came out of the Biden administration.
I don't like that
Yeah, I
kind
couldn't-
of rhetoric, but you do.
I couldn't
you do have
stand
to
this
acknowledge.
fucking administration.
You. I mean, the stats are very clear that like 95% of people who died after the vaccine was released were unvaccinated.
Yep.
It's something crazy like that.
Yeah, but that's not just that.
I would love to see those stats. I would
Yeah.
also love to show you the stats that said like over 90% of the people that died had comorbidities.
Of
Um,
course, that's of course. Like I'm not going to deny that. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, but most people have comorbidities. Like that's just a normal thing.
But those people,
It's not
most of those
normal.
people who died had comorbidities, and they died without.
It's not normal when we're telling people. I'd like to see the stats on that. I would.
This is
because,
like so. The issue. Let me just say this. The comorbidities argument is like saying, well, none of these people died of AIDS. Yeah, people don't die of AIDS. AIDS is a comorbidity that leads to them dying, right? So when we talk about COVID and comorbidities, the fact that you have these comorbidities makes you more likely to die. However, if you're vaccinated, then you're less likely to die even with comorbidities.
Anecdotal personal experience, dude. My uncle who married into a family that I spent multiple Thanksgivings with, Jack, he was a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
He was vaccinated. His daughter is a nurse. That's who my uncle married into. My uncle and all them are way more liberal. And they were very pro-vaccine. They forced my grandpa to get the vaccine. Then my grandpa's like, I'm not getting the booster. and Jack, who is, pro-vaccine and shit, he ended up catching COVID and died of heart complications while in the hospital. And it was the common issue of heart complications constantly after the vaccine came out.
So
And then what became a
myocarditis.
respiratory disease ended up having and they just created more.
Yeah, but
conspiracy.
myocarditis. While we do recognize that there was a small uptick in myocarditis from the vaccine, it actually turns out that you're more likely to get myocarditis from COVID.
Yeah.
And the thing is that
and that's what they tell us. But then next thing
no,
you know,
that's what the data shows. That's what the data shows.
And from a personal experience, you're always left under the question, like, well, if he wasn't
Yeah, but
vaccinated, would he have died?
I
tell you an
personal
anecdotal thing?
personal experience feels very compelling, and I
Can I
understand
tell you
that.
can I tell you an anecdotal experience that isn't that anecdotal actually? Because I have a friend. She's a doctor. She was the smartest kid I grew up with. She in our class, she was the smartest kid in the class. Right? She went on to become a doctor. She's works at the OR in Canada, and I would just ask her like, what's going on in the hospital? Right? She's high up there in the hospital, and she would tell me after the vaccine came out, almost every single person who was coming into the hospital with COVID was the unvaccinated. It was just it was overwhelmingly true. The other thing that happened to be true that was true at the time and what further than made sense with the continuing to further than made sense with the continuing to lock down and stuff after that. But
And what year was that when you asked her? Like
Give it a
2021,
second. Hold that
2022?
thought. The stream is restarting
uh,
here. Okay, we're back up again. Go ahead.
I talked to her. I've talked to her multiple times. Not only that, I actually did a. I have a podcast that I do with some friends back with this girl back home. It's called Adulthood Friends, and we brought her on to talk about healthcare, and we talked about that on that episode. So I can't remember exactly when it was, but we actually immortalized that in there.
So
But
I wanna show you guys a graphic here that I think is really important. Can you see my screen, Daniel?
Yep.
So you see this line right here,
Yeah.
the blue lines right here. These are deaths while being vaccinated. The black line, deaths per 100,000 while unvaccinated. See that big
Was this
little
report?
difference there?
Is this our CDC?
This is.
yeah,
I mean, it looks like an entire. There's CDC, CDN, CSTE, Census, CDC. Yeah.
All right.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
and like here, I'll put this in the chat. You can like take a closer look at the data later if you want. If you have any comments, if there's like any issues with the methodology you think you want to point out, you can let us know. But yeah, I just put that in the Discord chat for you. You can bookmark that and take a look at it later if you want.
it was just a difficult time because when you went to talk
It is a
about
it was a
virus as
difficult
well,
time.
there was so many
Absolutely.
people that said it would stop transmission. There's so many people that kept saying something.
Those people were lying.
And they able from CNN to MSNBC to
Those
ABC
people were lying. They were wrong.
Doctor. Even when I listened to Dr. Fauci in his earlier interviews, it's like this sounds like a doctor who's being logical, and then when fucking 2020 came, it sounded like a doctor who is
Yeah.
sponsored by Big Pharma.
Okay.
And it was like, and then the fact that some of the worst criminal cases, medical criminal cases, largest criminal lawsuits of all time, come out of Moderna and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, and
Well,
those became
that's because
our
those are the largest
leaders.
pharmaceutical companies in the world. So naturally, the largest
Right.
lawsuits
And
are going to
and
be
then when
from
you
them.
have, of course, and then when you have what is there a retired CEO from Pfizer on the board of the FDA, and you just see what happens is you get pushed so
I
many
get why
lies
that
and
looks
so many
weird.
skeptical things that I personally didn't believe in taking the vaccine. I remember originally being pro-vaccine. Bro, here's actually how. All right, this is anecdotal again, but it fucked me up. I remember this was during the year 2020. I remember working at a restaurant and a very if tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but if you remember pre-2020, the most anti-vaxxers used to be liberal. They
Yes.
used to be
No, we talked
Democrats.
about this. They were like
And I
weirdo,
remember
kooky
I
hippies.
remember arguing with
they were
this
the
one girl.
astrology
She
left.
told
I
me.
call them.
Yeah, the astrology
She
left.
Astrology left.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Dude, I 100% agree with that because I knew this one woman and I love her. She was all right. Am I still in the chat? Yeah. Um, Dude, she was talking about how crazy she thinks it is for all these vaccines for her daughter. She's like, It's just so much more than what I took. Like, she has to get this and then get that. I go, oh no, you're an anti-vaxxer, are you a flat earther too? I remember like mocking her. Like, and that's why I hate even
Rightly
acting
so,
arrogant
good
at all
buddy.
anymore. I just don't like being arrogant.
If you want,
No, no.
I'm
Here's what
teasing. I'm
happened.
teasing you, bro. I'm
2020,
teasing you, bro.
that fucked me up, bro. And it really is what created my
Here's what I want to
skepticism.
do.
I gotta finish this.
Okay,
I
go
gotta
ahead,
finish
go
this
ahead,
real
go
quick. 2020, I remember my buddy Jason Barone, dude, I was best friends with his brother. His brother died. I became incredibly close with his family and his dad. And then his older brother, Jason, filled in our friend group. And I knew his son from like when he was born to when he was a kid. I would come over. He would grab your hands and make you play toys, and he would crash trucks and all this stuff. And his son was starting kindergarten or preschool, and he had to be vaccinated. And there's 4 vaccines. Now, I have another best friend who has a son around the same age. And do we all have these conversations? Gino told me that when they had 4 vaccines, he was like, Stephanie was super like, we got to space this out. So we did 1 each month. He's like, but I guess Jason had allowance from the doctor that said you could get 2 today and 2 tomorrow. And he gave 2 vaccines to his son one day and 2 the next day. And this same little boy who I have played toy trucks with, action figures, watched run around, super active, nice. He, within 1 week of that vaccination, is autistic. Dude, he said his kid went mute, would just stare at the wall. And now, since then, it's been 4 more years. His son is now 8 years old, and that boy's autistic. And then that was when I went, fuck, dude.
But
like
how?
there is now.
How do we know the
something
correlation?
to that to me?
How do we know the correlation?
The correlation
is a
is
causation?
due to the fact, dude, because it was within days of the vaccines. At the time, that rhetoric was already in the air. I thought of it as
Yeah,
nonsense.
but like the things that you
An
talked
individual
about,
I know well.
the things that you talked about are not like. Okay, I mean, like we could go down this road.
Dude, it's one of those situations where you're like, I believe we need to let the immigrants in, and I believe we need to help Black lives, and then one day your store is the one that gets fucking robbed and traumatized repeatedly during the Black Lives Matter protest. That you go, I no longer support this shit. So I get it, dude. Again, to me, it's just anecdotal, but I witnessed it firsthand. I witnessed it
totally
firsthand.
fair. Anecdotal,
and I know it's real in my world, bro, in
his
his world.
I can't speak to an anecdotal,
And vaccine injuries. By the way, vaccine injuries are a thing. That's not a thing.
And vaccine injuries are a thing. It's true.
And if you're gonna ask, hey, are we giving up freedom in a sense to mass vaccinate everybody? Yes,
Yeah,
of course
we are.
Right? And if you prioritize that over kind of like societal health, then yeah, you're gonna be upset. But if that's the argument, right? It's a perfect ethical dilemma.
Especially when you know that some of these mass vaccine mandates, I can't work unless I'm vaccinated, especially when you know it's injured individuals
Yeah.
That's going to create a much more rage.
That's the dilemma. But guys, we're going to be here forever talking about this. Here's what I want to do for next time. I would love it, Daniel, if you brought some of like the Fauci videos that you were talking about so we can watch them together and talk about them.
Okay.
That way we can either be like, hey, yeah, that is kind of sus, or, we can have a watch of it and I can be like, well, it sounds like maybe he's saying like this or whatever. Yeah. I'm
just going to post them on your chat. I'm going to post Cartier family stuff with The Economist.
The
Economist first. I did before I go back to vaccines because we
but I want to watch them together.
I feel like it moved on from vaccine
I want to make sure that
we
watch them together because I want us to like
have
the conversation about.
But let me post it in your chat so I don't have to search for it. That's
for sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. And then I think Josh was probably wrapping it up for himself a good 45 minutes.
Yeah, Josh, closing statement, my friend.
I got roped in.
You got a closing statement?
Huh?
And then we can all give our closing statements for the evening.
Josh, closing statement. It's really nice to meet you, Daniel, and you seem cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like talking about this stuff, but I do believe overall, most importantly, it's respectful dialogue about everything, even if it's like
Fuck yeah.
even if it's somebody who there's that belief of like you shouldn't you can't have dialogue with somebody who is like against something that you think is like a right.
Or dismisses you. I just
Yeah,
want to talk to people. I
still
don't want
think
to
it's
be
worth
dismissed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still
absolutely.
think
That's
dialogue, everything. Like I'm even more extreme. Like I've talked to people who are straight up anti-Semitic, who were like, and I would dialogue with
yeah.
them.
I'm in comedy, dude. I know a lot of comedians that are anti-Semitic, like truly, like pro-Palestine as fuck.
Yeah,
You know?
even if you don't believe in my
That's
right to
scary.
exist, I still want to dialogue with you. So,
Yeah.
That's so scary to me. My God.
Oh, you're fine. That's always
No,
been
I
the
just
case,
like
shorty.
it's
You gotta live
scary
with it.
that like there's so many people out there now who like feel more comfortable saying shit like that. But that's conversation for next time, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Daniel, your closing statement.
Oh, dude, another great conversation among
yeah.
good people. I will say this. I will say closing statement. I believe in Trump's policies, and I do feel like it's going to be a betterment of this country.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree that we will see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see
Yeah,
what fucking
absolutely.
happens.
At this point,
Yep.
just time. Time will tell.
I don't want you to be wrong.
I don't want you to
Cool,
be
okay.
wrong
Thank
either,
you.
dude. It would be the
Thank you.
best
Hey,
thing ever.
and
if
you know
Trump
what I love?
does,
I
perfect.
love if you tell me the day that Josh, let's honestly, man, I would love to discuss Trudeau with you and how you feel about him on the next. Like, I would like to spend more time.
I'm not following everything Canada as much as I once did. So
Ooh, Canada sucks right now, dude. You see, you
I
guys
agree
have
I agree with
as you guys
right.
have a higher amount of suicides
Yeah.
than like the gun deaths of our country, which I don't.
That's
That's what I
crazy.
heard. So don't quote me on that, but that's mind blowing because I'm like, wait, we got a lot of gun deaths. in this country.
we kill a lot of people with my guns up in here. So.
Yeah.
I don't think Trudeau's getting in next time. I really don't. I think Pierre
That's
Poilievre-
probably for the best at this point.
For the best, man, because it got weird in Canada, dude. It got very weird in Canada.
I mean, people can say what they want about Stephen Harper. Looking back, it's like a bygone era. Like it was economically strong under him and all kinds of stuff. Like it's there's a lot of economic problems now in Canada under Trudeau for sure.
Yeah, probably gonna be worse for them as soon as Trump's in office too, because Trump ain't fucking around with Trudeau.
Well,
he already mentioned. Yeah,
all
right, we're good. We're
I
good.
think this has been great, guys. This has been a really productive conversation. Thank you to everybody who was watching us tonight. We really appreciate it, and we'll